Anmol, lots of border villages now reporting debris of Pakistan's missiles, which were, of course, thwarted by India's air defense system. What are you picking up? Have you spoken to the villagers there?
See, Preeti, people here in villages at the borderline are tense, and also they are moving their families, they are moving out with the belongings. And here in Firozpur area, I'm at the Lakha Singh Wala, the last village with the borderline, and here person from Pakistan side was neutralized by the BSF yesterday night in the wee hours at 2:30 a.m. and also he was warned when he crossed the fencing that he'll be shot down, but he tried coming forward to this side, Punjab side, and he was shot down by the BSF. So it's not not only the by the air defense, but also when the person trying to any infiltration by crossing the fencing or at the border side here at Firozpur or other border districts. So they are also being neutralized, and there was a blackout in Firozpur for 3 hours from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and also for today, whether the people at the border district, border villages or the administration here are trying hard for today, and also they've been preparing that if there's a need for blackout or any sort of preparation, so they are fully prepared and they are standing strong with the Indian Army and with the administration as well.
All right, Anmol, I'll come back to you, viewers. Now, the Ministry of Defense, in its second press statement ever since Operation Sindur, has also stated unfortunate loss of Indian life where Pakistan retaliated with heavy firing, heavy shelling across the LOC, especially where Poonch was concerned, was hit the most by Pakistan's shelling, where Pakistan indiscriminately attacked civilian population, and that could be seen by houses, civilian houses being completely destroyed. And viewers, we've lost 16 lives right now. 16 Indians have been killed by Pakistan attacking civilians. 3 women and 5 young children are dead, killed by Pakistan. I want to cut across to my colleague Kamaljit Sandhu, who's joining us from Poonch, because Kamal, it is Poonch that was the worst impacted by indiscriminate targeting of civilians by Pakistan.
Well, absolutely. And remember, this is a misadventure carried out by Pakistan. First, it started with Pahalgam on April 22nd. Thereafter, we saw how Pakistani forces have continuously targeted the civilian areas. And now what we know is their misadventure by targeting 15 towns. This is obviously all along the border, be it Jammu and Kashmir, be it cities of Punjab, and obviously targeting the defense system, vital installations. And this is where India has shown not only just the resilience, but also how the UAS counter grid system has actually worked. The air defense system, the S-400, which has been put in place. And this is where not only have they fended off that particular drone and missile attack, which happened in India, but also has been able to give them a counter attack of sorts. And the way the drones have swarmed, especially in Lahore, and obviously neutralized that particular threat in Pakistan itself. So this is where India has not only shown its military might and strength, but they have told Pakistan that enough is enough as far as their misadventures are concerned. Remember, there's an open threat coming in from their Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. There's also an open threat coming in from the Army Chief Asim Munir. And this is where what we know is that there are preparations done both from India and Pakistan side, and this is why India could actually fend off this particular Air Force airstrike, whether be it the missiles coming in, the drones coming in. And thereafter what we know is, remember, the escalation did not happen from India's side. First, it was the Pahalgam attack, and then there was a retaliation. Remember, the terror sites which were attacked were precision strikes done. None of the civilian or military sites were hit. And then thereafter, what we know and how we've seen sequence of events take place, the targeting of civilian installations and houses.
Stay with me, Kamal, stay with me. The reason I'm just pulling away for a brief while is we're getting in visuals in the news that we are breaking right now that one of the drones that India attacked Pakistan or retaliated with a proportionate response was it hit the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. Rawalpindi Stadium has been damaged ahead of PSL match, India's drone strike in Pakistan at Army's seat of power. The cricket stadium is very close to the Pakistan Army headquarters, and part of that cricket stadium has also been hit. You can see a sense of chaos. You can hear sirens blaring in Rawalpindi. Those images that you see on your television screen come in from the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. If we still have Gaurav with us. All right, we have Ankit Kumar, who is with us, who's been looking and studying the imagery, the videos that are coming in from Pakistan right now. Ankit, first, of course, we had the images of how India, through its Harpy drones, destroyed the air defense systems of Lahore, Pakistan, crucial for Lahore, and then now visual imagery coming in, not just satellite imagery, visual imagery also coming in of Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, part of it which is apparently next to the army headquarters, been hit by India's drones. All right, we're going to try and get Ankit Kumar with us in just a short while from now, but you can see on your television screen, viewers, India has taken full responsibility of what it clearly calls a proportionate counterattack to what Pakistan tried to do through the course of late last night. So now India is in Operation Sindoor second phase. You could call it Operation Sindoor 2.0 because for India till yesterday it was non-escalatory, but India was very clear. Even now India says it's non-escalatory, it is responsive but proportionately responsive. Because viewers, yesterday, through the course of the night, after Pakistan Prime Minister's statement to the people, public address, there, through the night, Pakistan Army tried to hit 15 targets in India across its borders, where Indian Army's military stations and other forces, crucial military bases were to be attacked. However, India's thwarted that attempt, neutralizing the attack of Pakistan. However, India then answered proportionately where Pakistan was concerned, and using Harpy drones neutralized the Lahore Air Defense Base, the Sialkot Air Defense Base, and hit the Rawalpindi headquarters, which is big because that is the seat of Pakistani army power, viewers. And India giving a sinister, clear message with just that one big statement of hitting the Rawalpindi headquarters. Part of the Rawalpindi Stadium is close to the army headquarters there, and that has also been hit. You can see on your television screen the kind of chaos, sirens blaring after the drone hit the Rawalpindi headquarters and part of the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. I want to cut across to Shivani, who is continues to be with us. All right, we don't have Shivani. Kamal, if you'd want to, come in on the images that are filtering in from Rawalpindi, acute chaos in Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi, Kamal, for all practical purposes, where it comes down to symbolism, is one of the most vulnerable targets where Pakistan is concerned, the seat of power for the Pakistan army, and the army is all powerful in Pakistan.
Well, absolutely. The images actually show chaos, something that Pakistan had planned to do in India by targeting these 15 cities, and that is where the India's air defense system really came into action. And that is why what we've seen is not only a good defense system of India, especially along the line of control and international border, but also a counter-attack which has now taken place, which has caused enough chaos and confusion right in Pakistan. Because remember, earlier in the night, what we saw in Amritsar, in Gurdaspur, in Kapurthala, there were information coming in about explosions taking place, and that's when we actually found out quite later that they were drones and missiles being tried to struck by Pakistan, which were obviously fended off very, very effectively. No civilian or military targets were hit, and then thereafter what we saw was a planned precision strike as carried out by the drones, and this is where the Air Force system as well as the Indian Army paying, giving it back to Pakistan. And remember, there's a price to pay, be it Rawalpindi, be it Sialkot, be it Lahore. So there is a confusion in Pakistan Pakistan. And remember, the emergency meeting by the armed forces at this point of time means they would be quickly planning something. Now, what we see at line of control right here is an escalation of sorts, but definitely in the next few days, this doesn't seem to hover well as far as India-Pakistan relations are concerned. Remember, India has been reiterating they're not escalating it, but definitely if you look at Pakistan...
India's made it very clear, Kamal, that you're going to hit us, we're going to respond proportionately. And India has done exactly that. Because today, viewers, you had the Pakistan Army conduct a press conference where they said that India has hit military installations in Pakistan, clearly escalating. And they were lying, viewers, because India was not escalating. India was responding. All right, more news coming in. India shoots down Pakistan missiles across 15 locations. Pakistan targets 15 military locations in India. India destroys Pakistan air defense system in Lahore. Pakistan air defense units completely reduced to shambles. Indian Air Force used the S-400 air defense system. S-400 Sudarshan Chakra shot down Pakistan missiles. So this is the news that we've been breaking and following through the course of the last 1.5 hour, viewers, because now the MOD in a responsible statement has detailed on what really went down last night, viewers, and that's the news that we've been breaking. Pakistan tried to target 15 military locations in India. It's right, if you look at, and the Indian Army has given out the details. The MOD, the Ministry of Defense, has given out those details, including Awantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Nal, Falodi, Uttarlai, Bhuj. So one can well imagine what Pakistan had planned through the course of late last night, viewers. Each of that 15 attempt to target Indian installations were thwarted, neutralized, and India used the S-4 air defense system to neutralize this attack by Pakistan. On your television screens, you can see what right in the middle of images that were caught of India neutralizing Pakistan's attack last night. Not one of those 15 Indian locations, military establishments were touched. That's the news that we're breaking. I want to also cut across because even in the same press note by the MOD has made it very clear that Pakistan since yesterday has been targeting India's civilian population, especially across the LOC, where not just light arms, Pakistan has resorted to heavy firing ammunition across the border. Heavy artillery is being used by Pakistan and targeted to destroy innocent homes and innocent lives. India has lost 16 innocent lives in this, including 5 little children and 3 women there. And that has been confirmed, sadly, by the Indian Army. I want to cut across to Uri, where, all right, we are getting in more news breaks which are coming in. Air raid sirens have gone off in Islamabad now. That's the big news that is coming in. Lahore, Rahul, Rawalpindi, and now Islamabad. Air raid sirens have gone off in Islamabad. After Lahore, Karachi, Sialkot, it is Islamabad where one can hear air raid sirens. Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, on India's target. That's the big question. But all we can tell you right now is, viewers, and we need to underline that. We need to underline that multiple times. India is not escalating. India is only now responding and responding proportionately to the kind of attack Pakistan had tried to build through the course of last night. It's another fact that entire plan, sinister plan of Pakistan was neutralized, thwarted, but India is now giving it back proportionately. So after Lahore, after Rawalpindi, Sialkot, air raid sirens are going off in Islamabad, and that is the capital. Indian drone attack scare in Pakistan's capital. Is Islamabad on India's target to retaliate proportionately next? Because that is the word right now coming in from Pakistan. I want to connect right now back to Kamaljit Sandhu. All right, we have Shivani with us, Shivani Sharma, who's joining us with the latest. Shivani, what more can you add? Because Lahore, Sialkot, Rawalpindi, Army headquarters, and now sirens go off in Islamabad.
Preeti, this is a huge loss for Pakistan after its misadventure last night when it tried to intrude into the Indian borders with its whatever it was firing, missile or drones. But then all this was neutralized, and today, early morning, India activated its Harpi missiles to suppress the air defense systems there. And in Lahore, we've been getting the report in Sialkot and Rawalpindi. All these bases are very important, Preeti. They all have lost their air defense systems, and Pakistan has to suffer for what it did. But the message that has been given out by India remains that we do not want any escalation. But if further any thing is done by Pakistan, we are ready for it, and the response that has been given by India.
Stay with me right there. Give me 30 seconds because we are just going to amp up the latest visuals that are coming in from Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. Viewers, you can clearly hear air raid sirens go off now. Is it just, Islamabad in panic? Is it just preparing the civilians? Is this a civic drill which is taking place, civic defense drill? We don't quite know yet, but or they're expecting something. Over to you, Shivani. Over to you, Shivani. Go ahead. All right, I think we've lost Shivani because our reporters are also who've been tracking the escalation by Pakistan, giving us a minute-to-minute account, moving location where they feel necessary. And we're going to cut across to Shivani in just a short while. But these images coming in from Islamabad, I want to also cut across viewers to Uri. And we are joined from Uri by my colleague Amit Bhardwaj, who's been tracking the damage to civilian houses, civilian establishments, because one thing is clear, Amit, that Pakistan is very clearly, since the afternoon yesterday, constantly attacking India's civilian population. We've lost 16 lives. Most of them have come from Poonch, but Uri also impacted with heavy artillery shelling coming in from across the border. India proportionately responsive. Amit, can you hear me? All right, we don't seem to have Amit Bhardwaj with us. We're going to try and connect to him just a short while from now. But viewers, after Lahore, after Sialkot, after Rawalpindi, sirens go off in the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad. I want to cut across to Kamaljeet Sandhu because Kamal, this is of great significance right now because we don't know whether this is just Pakistan in panic, Pakistan in chaos right now that we can hear military sirens go off in Islamabad, or is this a civic defense drill, or is Pakistan anticipating an attack on Islamabad?
Pakistan has to learn a lesson, and they are being paid a price. This is why what we know is one, there is security being amped up all across line of control and on international border. India has not taken it very lightly. That is why what we see a plan in place, and Operation Sindoor didn't happen just immediately. So India has worked on its security plan. They knew that Pakistan would come up with something like this. And remember, we only had terror targets. They obviously attacking the civilians, and they verting back with not just fire but with artillery shells. And that is something which has happened way back in November 2003 when India-Pakistan had that ceasefire pact. Now that's been thrown in the dustbin as of now because remember, the sort of artillery shelling which has been done by Pakistan was deliberate, targeting of civilians, and then thereafter targeting of these 15 cities. What is clear is because there's ammunition, there is dump being found, there is obviously remnants of missile as well as drones being found in different parts of Punjab, which was very clear because remember the explosions were heard in Amritsar. Now that is the cultural capital of Punjab, and this is where what we know is the sinister plans of Pakistan, because it's not just Jammu and Kashmir. They have been trying to pump in, not just through drones and otherwise weapons, money, trying to actually have a terror gangster network of that sort. But here it is much more sinister because remember, this is the entire line across the western border which is now facing Pakistan, where there's high alert. There are mock drills being carried out, but definitely as far as Pakistan is concerned, right now, the chaos that they wanted to witness, especially after Pahalgam attack, the sort of harmony that has existed in India. There was no sort of riots breaking out. There was no. So India has actually lived up to its reputation, but
Right.
it's Pakistan which is actually breaking down in many senses the sort of chaos that we've seen on ground, and especially the defense system not being able to keep up as far as the attack by India is concerned. So remember, whether it's the mortar or the defense system which try to penetrate into the Indian hinterland, and that's what being fended off, neutralized and effectively stopped by India. And then there was an effective counter attack which was launched by the armed forces, the S-400
Right.
being put in practice and in place, and that is why India has shown superior military strength right here, especially as both countries see escalation of tensions. But remember, India is reiterating they have not tried to escalate. It's a commensurate action as far as Indian forces are concerned, only after the trigger came in from Pakistan, and that is what has effective systems being working in place, and all whether it's the paramilitary forces or the Indian Army or the Air Force, all working in tandem, in synchronicity.
Right.
And that is what we see
All right,
on the ground
viewers,
as
I just
well.
want to get, Kamal, stay with me. I want to quickly get our viewers up to speed. First up, what you see on your television screen, satellite images of the Lahore Air Defence Headquarters that have been completely neutralized by India's drones, Harpy drones there. And you can see the aftermath of India's drone attack on the air defense system in Lahore. This is crucial, viewers. But I want to take you through some of the big news that is coming in right now. All right, we are also getting a news break. All right, let's cut across to the latest news break that's coming in, and I'm going to get our viewers up to speed with the last few developments that one needs to take clear note of. India has repelled Pakistan's counter-attack. Multiple Pakistan missiles shot down in the sky. India using S-400 anti-missile batteries. Indian strikes erase 1,600 crore Pakistan assets. Pakistan tried to hit 15 military hubs late last night, failed. India retaliated. India's hit Karachi, Lahore. Indian drones hit Pak air defense systems. On camera, S-400 missile defense in action. 15 Pakistan attack bids across 2,000-kilometer point. Now, these are visuals coming in from Lahore. All right, we're going to try and get in our viewers with the latest that's coming in. All right, I want to cut across right now immediately. We're going to get our viewers a larger understanding on what this visual is. Just give us about 10 seconds. These visuals coming in, we're going to get our viewers a larger understanding where we're getting these visuals from. But I want to cut across right now to my colleague Amit Bhardwaj, who's joining us from Uri, because while, viewers, all of this is taking place in Pakistan trying to attack India through the course of the night, 15 locations spread across 2,000 kilometers, completely foiled, thwarted, neutralized by India. But India now attacking Pakistan through drones as a proportionate retaliatory attack and succeeding. Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and now sirens are going off in Islamabad. But all along this, the LOC is hot, it's lit. Pakistan is using heavy artillery to attack Indian civilians. We've lost many lives in Poonch, and even in Uri, the engagement between India and Pakistan continues, India giving it right back. I want to cut across right now to Amit Bhardwaj. Amit, what's the update from Uri?
Well, Preeti, if you compare with the visuals that of Operation Sindur and what Pakistan's cowardly act has been in response to Operation Sindur, the contrast is pretty clear that we, in a very clinical manner, targeted the terror breeding hubs in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir and Pakistan. But Pakistan, in a cowardly act, has, hit back and targeted the civilian areas of India along the line of control. Uri sector, where I'm standing right right now, the villages around here in Gingal, in Salamabad, which have not seen heavy artillery, shelling ever since 1998. It needs to be noted and underlined. Ever since 1998, they have never witnessed such kind of heavy artillery and shelling from Pakistani side. And in the wake of the Operation Sindur, there has been extremely heavy artillery and shelling in the villages of Salamabad, in Gingal, and even a very important establishment in Gingal Uri sector has been targeted and damaged by the Pakistani shelling and artillery. What we are given to understand that the agencies are responding to the situation as well. But what also needs to be underlined, I met these families, those who were injured in Salamabad. They were referred back to GMC in Baramulla. I met them. And one of these individuals was Badruddin of Salamabad. He was hurt. His 8-year son was hurt. They were hospitalized, but they were defiant. And they were saying, if Pakistan really wants to fight, go on, fight with the Indian army. And the civilians in this sector, in Uri sector, along the line of control in India, are standing rock solid with the Indian army. So that is the kind of spirit that the civilians in this particular area has, that despite being hurt by the shellings and artillery of the Pakistan, despite being in the hospital, they remain defiant and they are continuing to back the Indian armed forces in the region. And all through the night, we were also on alert, and I've traveled all through Avantipur, Srinagar yesterday, and from Baramulla to Uri today. What we have seen is that Indian forces are on high alert. One more case that I want to discuss with you right now is that one of the injured person was Zeenat. She was attacked in a remote village of Uri sector along the line of control for 4 hours. There was no response because they could not take her to the hospital because there was continuous shelling and artillery being fired from the other side of the border by the Pakistani forces. And due to extreme bleeding, she will now have to go through multiple rounds of surgeries. So that's the kind of cowardly act and attack that is being carried out by the Pakistani forces on Indian civilians, right from Jammu's Punj area to Kashmir's Uri sector, Salamabad and Gingal villages. Back to you, Preeti.
All right, Amit, stay on with me. Amit reporting from Uri, because Pakistan, viewers, is unrelenting when it's going after civilian lives. India had made it very clear. India's targets were done with precision, only attacking terror launch pads where terrorists were hiding, and those 9 spots that India had curated, taken 2 weeks to make sure that they do not attack civilian population. Ever since yesterday, Pakistan is going after civilian population across the LOC. And then, of course, the big misadventure it embarked on yesterday, all of that foiled and thwarted. All right, the latest that is coming in is as well India targeting Pakistan installations. All of this is proportionate reaction to what Pakistan tried to do last night. They tried to attack 15 military installations. Now, India has targeted Pakistan installations, Rawalpindi, Pakistan Army headquarters, Pakistan Army chief. It's the seat of power, sits right there. Cricket stadium has also been hit in Rawalpindi because it's very close to the Pakistan Army headquarters. Number 1. Number 2, Lahore Cant headquarters, 9 missile systems, anti-defense air systems completely destroyed, neutralized. Sialkot near LOC, heavily militarized zone, and India has hit there too. You can see on your television screen right there. I want to connect right now immediately to Manjeet Negi, who's joining us for more with the latest updates coming in. Manjeet, what are you hearing in from the Ministry of Defense? A detailed statement giving out of India's proportionate response, but the MOD now clearly seeming to suggest we are in the second phase of Operation Sindur.
Well, the Indian Armed Forces has issued a detailed press release on the response against the allegation posed by the Pakistan Army. And the first time Indian Air Force has the launch operation of the S-400 Sudarshan Chakra missile system. Yesterday, Pakistan has launched the missile and drone attacks on the around 15 cities, including from the Rajasthan, Gujarat and Jammu Kashmir. Important military installation like Bhatinda, and Uttarlai, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar. These are the military installation. And Pakistan used HQ-9 missile defense system, their latest drone system. And after that, Indian Air Force, especially the Indian Air Force, launched first time the S-400 missile system against the air defense and radar system of Pakistan in city like Lahore, Karachi and Sialkot.
Manjeet, what more can you add? Because Islamabad right now, sirens are blaring. What are you picking up from the MOD? On the other hand, Rawalpindi, the seat of the armed forces in Pakistan, Rawalpindi attacked as well.
Well, after that, the Pakistan is claiming that India has carried out a drone attack in the Karachi, Lahore, Sialkot, and the Indian Air Force carried out the retaliatory drone attacks, especially the use of S-400 against the and also the Harop drone, latest Harop drone in many cities like the Lahore, Karachi, and Indian Air Force use these Harop and Harop drone only against the Pak air defense and radar system and not any civilian area.
All right. Okay, Manjeet, appreciate you joining us with that quick update. Meanwhile, viewers, let me quickly get you up to speed. What Manjeet Negi also touched on India's S-400 defense system. In a major escalation, Pakistan launched a wave of drone and missile attacks targeting 15 in total, 15 Indian military installations. The incoming attack was effectively intercepted, thwarted by India's S-400 Sudarshan Chakra air defense system. The Russian-made S-400 is one of the world's most advanced long-range surface-to-air missile systems, capable of detecting, tracking, destroying aerial threats, including drones, cruise missiles and fighter jets. Each S-400 system establishes a protective shield over critical military and strategic areas, providing a layered and highly responsive air defense. With a detection range of 600 kilometers and the ability to intercept targets up to 400 kilometers away, the S-400 played a vital role in neutralizing the recent aerial offensive launched by Pakistan last night. Capable of engaging over 70 targets simultaneously, the S-400 defends a significantly wider area compared to systems like Israel's Iron Dome, offering far-reaching protection against distant and diverse threats up to 400 kilometers where long-range missiles are concerned, viewers. All right, let's quickly cut across to the latest coming in from Pakistan.
आपका चेहरा अब सामने आ गया है मोदी तुम्हारा, चाहे कनाडा है, चाहे यूएसए है, चाहे ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, चाहे इंग्लैंड है, हर जगह पे तुम्हारी दहशतगर्दी के निशान मौजूद हैं। और वो गवर्नमेंट खास तौर पे कनाडा ने आपके साथ जो हशर किया इंटरनेशनली, वो आपको पता होना चाहिए। आप मशहूर हैं दहशतगर्दी के लिए और आप दहशतगर्दी करना पसंद करते हैं, लेकिन मोदी ये याद रखना कि हिंदुस्तान का जब टूटना होगा और होना है इंशाल्लाह, तो मोदी तुम इसके जिम्मेदार हो। तुम्हारी पॉलिसीज, तुम्हारा तरीका, जब आप अपने माइनॉरिटीज को दबाएंगे, सब कुछ करेंगे, तो ये मुल्क कायम नहीं रह सकेगा, भारत कायम नहीं रह सकेगा। और इसके टूटने के जिम्मेदार मोदी तुम हो, जो हर वक्त कत्लो गारत की बात करते हो और कत्लो गारत से अपना निज़ाम चलाना चाहते हो, चाहे मुल्क के अंदर हो चाहे मुल्क के बाहर। इसीलिए इस वक्त आर्म फोर्सेस को मैं सलाम पेश करता हूं कि उन्होंने वक्त बर वक्त एयरफोर्स ने अपना अमल किया और उनके जहाज़ों को गिराया। सर, ये ऐसे पायलट हैं, जब हमें F-16 मिला तो ये अमेरिका गए और ट्रायल के तौर पे इन्होंने वो F-16 उड़ाए, तो अमेरिकन अपनी उंगलियां दांतों के नीचे दबा के बैठ गए कि ये क्या चीज़ है कि F-16 पहली दफ़ा उड़ा रहे हैं और इतनी एक्यूरेसी, और वो 32 Gs की पुल थी सर उस शख्स पर जो उसको उड़ा रहा था। तो वो हैरान हो गए कि 16 G से ऊपर तो हम जाते नहीं है, तो ये 32 G पे भी जहाज़ को उड़ा रहे हैं। सो हमारी कैपेबिलिटी वो है, हमारे जहाज़ हुए। J-17 ने दुनिया में अपना नाम पैदा कर दिया और दुनिया और कितनी एक्सरसाइज हुई हैं। जब भी गए तो हमारा F-17 जीत के आए। और इंटरनेशनली आर्मी के जो मुकाबले होते उसमें भी हमारी फौज जब भी गई है तो गोल्ड मेडल लेके आई है एक्सरसाइज में कर। तो इसलिए जनाब स्पीकर ये बात वाज़ा कर देनी चाहिए, हमारी कौम यकजा है। मैं इन सब से कहूँगा कि मिल के चलो और अपने रब से रजू करो। रब काबा, हम तेरे आगे दरख्वास्त करते हैं, इस मुल्क की हिफाजत फरमाना जो तूने हमें अता किया है, और ये नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की दुआओं का है। आपने कायदे आज़म को इंग्लैंड में मुलाकात की, ख्वाब में आए और उनको कहा कि जाओ वापस और जाके पाकिस्तान का मामला हल करो। आप खान कलात को ख्वाब में आके ये हुक्म दिया कि तुमने पाकिस्तान की सरना है, ये मुल्क बन के रहेगा और तुमने तो ये ऐसा बड़ा मौजज़ा है कि अल्लाह पाक ने ये हमें अता किया है और अल्लाह पाक इस मुल्क की हिफाजत फरमाएंगे।
सायरन तो बज रहे ना भाई।
दुनिया में जहाँ भी देखें शायद हमारी कमी है, हम मजबूर हैं, हम गुनाहगार हैं, लेकिन रब्बे काबा हम तेरे हबीब के उम्मती हैं। खुदा का वास्ता हमसे रहम का मौला फरमा। आप चले जाएं, उधर फिलिस्तीन में चले जाएं, कश्मीर में चले जाएं, जहाँ भी जाएंगे मुसलमानों के साथ वो ऐसे रो रहा है जो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं। तो तू हमें माफ़ कर दे, हम तेरे आगे सर झुकाते हैं, माफ़ी मांगते हैं। नहीं, इसमें दो राय नहीं है मौला कि हम बड़े गुनाहगार हैं, लेकिन तेरी रहमत बहुत वसी है। तू रहमत का एक ज़र्रा भी भेजेगा हमारी तरफ तो इंशाल्लाह हमारी कामयाबी होगी। और दुआ करते हैं रब्बे काबा कि इस मुल्क की हिफाजत फरा और हमें दुश्मनों पर जो है वो फ़क़ीर अता फरमा और हमें उनको सरनगू करने की ताकत अता फरमा। मैं दुआ गो हूँ आर्म फोर्सेस के लिए, पाकिस्तानियों के लिए कि अल्लाह पाक हम सब की हिफाजत।
All right, viewers, what you just heard is a Pakistani member of parliament from the PMLN, which is the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif's party there. We're going to continue to get you reactions coming in from Pakistan. But having said that, viewers, what one really needs to look at how things panned out over the course of the last 15 to 18 hours. This afternoon, you had a press conference by Pakistan Army where they said that India, and they used the term escalation, escalated and have attacked Pakistani installations. What Pakistan refused to tell us and lied to the world is what Pakistan attempted to do through the course of late last night. Pakistan, viewers, fired 15 missiles and drones towards India to attack 15 Indian installations, something which India then responded with in a proportionate manner by attacking Pakistan Army installations through Hopi drones. But I want to give out the statement that was put forth by India's Ministry of Defence, a responsible statement. If after Operation Sindur, the first statement that came out by the Ministry of Defence, India was words stood out which were measured and non-escalatory in nature. In this statement, viewers, because these are statements that go out to the world on where India's stand is. And in this particular statement, the language that is used, one word was proportionate response. That India is not escalating the crisis. India will, though, respond proportionately. And that is exactly what India did. On your television screen, what you can see is how India neutralized, thwarted the attack launched by Pakistan late night on 15 Indian installations. The detailing of those 15 Indian installations have already been given by the Ministry of Defence, where Pakistan tried to attack Indian military installations in Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Nal, Falodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj. In terms of proof, well, that borders of India on the west, the border villages are being littered with the debris, if I might say, of Pakistan's misadventure late last night. And it was only after that that India responded. I want to bring in my colleague Shivani at this point of time, who's going to get us the latest coming in. As we speak, sirens are blaring in Islamabad. We don't know whether Islamabad anticipates an attack or this is just preemptive in panic and chaos. chaos. But having said that, Shivani, would you want to reflect on India neutralizing Pakistan's sinister plan late last night and neutralizing with the superb game changer S-400 air defense system acquired by Russia, from Russia?
Preeti, there were multiple air defense systems that were already at place, but yes, it's right that S-400 air defense systems that were activated were the most lethal ones because they are the most powerful and one of the best in the world, provided by Russia. India has procured 3 of them. The 3 batteries have already been inducted at different locations, and one of them was on the western border that was activated last night when Pakistan tried to intrude and try to engage with the military targets inside Indian boundary. And even long before they could even think and get directed towards India, they were neutralized then and there. And the Indian armed forces in a statement have very well given out this as an evidence that the debris are there along the cities and districts and villages of the borders that the Pakistanis were also trying to portray today since morning, that India has attacked us, India has escalated. So this attempt by Pakistan has been thwarted very strongly by India, and S-400 air defense system was initiated. They initiated action. And second important strike.
All right, I want to cut you short. India's defense minister speaking now. Listen into Rajnath Singh.
जय हिंद, जय हिंद। जो शौर्य और पराक्रम दिखाया है उसके लिए मैं हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। पाकिस्तान और पीओके में जिस तरह से हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने टेरर कैंप्स को नेस्त नाबूद किया है, वो हम सब के लिए एक गौरव का विषय है। साथियों, आप सभी नेशनल क्वालिटी कॉन्क्लेव का आयोजन ये आपका चल रहा है। क्वालिटी की क्या भूमिका होती है, यह क्या रोल अदा करती है, इसका नमूना हमने कल देखा। जिस प्रेसिजन के साथ यानी जिस सटीकता के साथ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर एग्जीक्यूट किया गया, वह अनइमेजिनेबल है, बहुत ही सराहनीय है। इसमें 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स तबाह हुए और अच्छी खासी संख्या में आतंकी मारे गए। जिस तरह से इस ऑपरेशन को किसी भी इनोसेंट को नुकसान पहुंचाए बिना मिनिमम कोलेटरल डैमेज के साथ अंजाम दिया गया, वह इसलिए संभव हो पाया क्योंकि हमारे फॉर्मिडेबल एंड प्रोफेशनली ट्रेन्ड आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के पास इक्विपमेंट भी हाई क्वालिटी के थे। ऐसे में इस क्वालिटी कॉन्क्लेव को मैं बड़े महत्वपूर्ण कॉन्क्लेव के रूप में देखता हूं। मैं इस आयोजन के लिए डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन और इनके सेक्रेटरी डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन श्री संजीव कुमार को भी हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं और क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को भी मैं बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, अभी मैं इस कॉन्क्लेव की थीम देख रहा था, फास्ट ट्रैकिंग ऑफ क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस थ्रू इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच एंड टेक्नोलॉजी एनेबल्ड प्रोसेसेस। आपकी यह थीम मुझे बेहद अच्छी ही नहीं लगी, बल्कि दिलचस्प भी लगी, इंटरेस्टिंग लगी। वैसे भी पूरी दुनिया में इसमें बड़ी तेजी से डिसरप्टिव चेंजेस हो रहे हैं और खासकर डिफेंस सेक्टर में तो लगातार नए नए ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस ये देखने को मिल रहे हैं। ऐसे में क्वालिटी असेसमेंट को फास्ट ट्रैक करना न सिर्फ रेलेवेंट है, बल्कि मैं समझता हूं यह समय की मांग है। उन चेंजेस को देखते हुए यह थीम अपने आप में बहुत ही रेलेवेंट हो जाती है। इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग और रेलेवेंट थीम रखने के लिए भी मैं आप सबको बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, अक्सर मुझे आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के अलग अलग कार्यक्रमों में प्रायः जाने का अवसर मिलता है। रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के इवेंट्स में जाने का भी अवसर मिलता रहता है। प्राइवेट सेक्टर द्वारा आयोजित कार्यक्रमों में भी मैं प्रायः जाता ही रहता हूं। परंतु आज का यह जो मंच है यह अपने आप में बड़ा अलग है और एक विशिष्ट मंच है। मैं ये देख रहा हूं यहां कई सारे लोग हैं जो अलग अलग फील्ड्स में महारत जिन्होंने हासिल की है, महारथी बैठे हैं यहां। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि आज की हमारी बातचीत भी कई मायनों में विशेष होने वाली है। साथियों, इस क्वालिटी कॉन्क्लेव की महत्ता और आवश्यकता पर तो मैं आगे चर्चा करूंगा ही, परंतु पहले मैं आपको कुछ ऐसे बिंदुओं से, कुछ ऐसे पॉइंट से अवगत कराना चाहूंगा जो हमारी सरकार की प्रायोरिटीज से जुड़े हुए हैं। 2014 में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हमारी सरकार आने के बाद प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमें एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण सूत्र प्रदान किया। उन्होंने शुरुआत में ही डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन सेक्टर के एम्पावरमेंट पर विशेष बल दिया। उन्होंने जो सूत्र दिया उसके पीछे की फिलॉसफी थी डिफेंस सॉवरेंटी। डिफेंस सॉवरेंटी का मतलब कि जब तक कोई देश अपनी डिफेंस नीड्स में कैपेबल तथा सेल्फ रिलायंट नहीं होता तब तक उसकी आजादी पूरी तरह से नहीं मानी जा सकती। जब तक हम अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए इंपोर्ट पर डिपेंडेंट रहेंगे तब तक कहीं न कहीं हमारी आत्मशक्ति में अधूरापन रहेगा ही। अगर हम अपने हथियार और रक्षा उपकरण विदेशों से खरीदते हैं तो इसका मतलब है कि हम अपनी सुरक्षा को आउटसोर्स कर रहे हैं और उसे किसी और के भरोसे छोड़ रहे हैं। यह बात लॉन्ग रन में सही नहीं हो सकती। हमारी सरकार ने इस विषय पर गंभीरता से सोचा और आत्मनिर्भरता हासिल करने का निर्णायक कदम भी उठाया है। आप सब तो जानते ही हैं कि देश में पहले से ही ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज का एक इंडिजिनस सिस्टम रहा है और इन फैक्ट्रीज ने एक समय पर बेहतरीन काम किया और देश की सुरक्षा जरूरतों को पूरा करने में बहुत ही अहम भूमिका निभाई भी है। इनके अलावा हमारे पास डिफेंस पीएसयूज का भी एक मजबूत इकोसिस्टम पहले से ही है। हमारी सरकार ने डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन में क्वालिटी और क्वांटिटी दोनों पर समान रूप से बल दिया है। इसी दिशा में कई क्रांतिकारी कदम उठाए गए, जिनमें से कुछ महत्वपूर्ण कदमों का उल्लेख मैं यहां करना चाहूंगा। ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज का कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन उनमें से एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण कदम रहा है, जिसे हमने इंश्योर किया ताकि कम समय में ही डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन में व्यापक सुधार हो सके। यहां मैं जरूर बताना चाहूंगा कि ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज का कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन हमारे लिए कोई बहुत सरल प्रक्रिया नहीं थी। इसमें अनेक जटिल प्रश्न थे और चैलेंजेज भी थे, परंतु हमने इसे इसलिए लागू किया क्योंकि यह एक अर्जेंट रिफॉर्म था। अब प्रश्न उठता है कि यह अर्जेंट क्यों था। इसका एक बड़ा कारण था क्वालिटी। आप सभी स्पेशलिस्ट के समक्ष मैं यह कह सकता हूं कि सरकार ने क्वालिटी को अपना प्रायोरिटी रिफॉर्म एजेंडा बनाया है। हमने क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट को ही टारगेट करते हुए ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज का कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन किया। तब से लेकर आज तक डिफेंस पीएसयूज ने लगातार सुधार किया है और कॉर्पोरेटाइजेशन के पश्चात क्वालिटी प्रोडक्शन को लगातार आगे बढ़ाने का प्रयास भी किया गया है और आज ये डीपीएसयूज इंटरनेशनली कॉम्पिटिटिव हो रहे हैं। आज ये अपने रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट पर भी अच्छा फोकस कर रहे हैं। आज ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पहले से कहीं ज्यादा वाइब्रेंट और एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड हो रहे हैं। वैसे तो अभी कुछ कार्य बाकी है, पर मैं इतना जरूर आश्वस्त हूं कि जिस प्रकार पब्लिक सेक्टर में रिफॉर्म के लिए हम प्रयासरत हैं, वह हमें आने वाले समय में काफी अच्छे रिजल्ट्स देने वाला है। साथियों, पब्लिक सेक्टर के डेवलपमेंट के पीछे हमारा एक ही उद्देश्य भी रहा है कि एक हेल्दी कॉम्पिटिटिव प्राइवेट डिफेंस इकोसिस्टम का विकास किया जाए, जो अपनी क्वालिटी के माध्यम से देश की सुरक्षा को और अधिक मजबूत बनाए। जैसा कि हम सभी जानते हैं कि क्वालिटी को लेकर प्राइवेट सेक्टर की अपनी एक अच्छी खासी इमेज होती है। किसी भी क्षेत्र में प्राइवेट सेक्टर अपनी गुणवत्ता के लिए जाना जाता है। आज चाहे बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म्स हों या सिस्टम्स, एमएसएमईज हों या स्टार्टअप्स, हमने ऐसा प्राइवेट इंडस्ट्रियल बेस तैयार किया है जो देश के डिफेंस सेक्टर के विकास में सक्रिय भागीदार बन रहा है और उसे सशक्त कर रहा है। आज रिलीज होने वाले इंडस्ट्री 4 को भी मैं इसी संदर्भ में देख रहा हूं। यह निश्चित रूप से हमें स्मार्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के एक ऐसे एरा में ले जाएगा जहां से हमारे लिए कई नए डायमेंशंस खुलेंगे। इसी तरह जो दूसरे मैनुअल्स आज रिलीज हो रहे हैं हुए हैं, जो एमओयू साइन हुए हैं, उनको भी मैं इसी कंटेक्स्ट में देखता हूं। यह सभी प्रयास केवल सरकार के प्रयास नहीं है, बल्कि आप सभी का मिला जुला प्रयास इसमें शामिल है, इसीलिए यह संभव हो पा रहा है। साथियों, जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं, आज की दुनिया में सिर्फ प्रोडक्ट नहीं बल्कि एक मजबूत ब्रांड वैल्यू भी जरूरी है। जब मार्केट में असिमेट्रिक इंफॉर्मेशन फैली होती है तब कंज्यूमर भ्रमित हो जाता है, कंफ्यूज हो जाता है। ऐसे में वही ब्रांड सफल होता है जो कंसिस्टेंट क्वालिटी और रिलायबिलिटी का भरोसा देता है। और यही कारण है कि हमें इंडियन डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री को एक स्ट्रांग और ट्रस्टेड ब्रांड बनाना ही होगा। इस संदर्भ में आज मैं आपसे एक महत्वपूर्ण अपील करने के लिए आप सबके बीच खड़ा हुआ हूं। यह अपील है एक मजबूत वर्ल्ड लीडिंग और स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट ब्रांड इंडिया का निर्माण। ताकि दुनिया की डिफेंस मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट्स को लेकर जब कंट्रीज के मन में डाउट हो तो वह ब्रांड इंडिया को चूज करे। Whenever in doubt, go for India। यह हमारी यूएसपी होनी चाहिए, यही हमारी यूएसपी होनी चाहिए। ब्रांड इंडिया का मतलब है कि अगर किसी इंडियन कंपनी ने कुछ प्रॉमिस किया है तो होगा ही होगा, होकर ही रहेगा। किसी प्रोडक्ट की फला रेंज तक मारक क्षमता है तो होगा ही होगा, यह भरोसा होना चाहिए। उससे नीचे का तो कोई सवाल ही खड़ा ही नहीं होता। किसी प्रोडक्ट की फला टेम्परेचर तक में काम करने की कैपेसिटी है तो होगी ही होगी, उससे नीचे का तो कोई प्रश्न ही नहीं खड़ा होता। यह होना चाहिए हमारा क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस और ब्रांड इंडिया का भरोसा। और जब हम ऐसा कर पाने में सफल होंगे तभी इंटरनेशनल बायर्स हमें एक ट्रस्टेड सप्लायर के रूप में देखेंगे और कहेंगे डोंट गो फॉर डाउट, गो फॉर इंडिया। साथियों, मैं समझता हूं कि इस दिशा में प्रयास करने का यह सबसे उचित समय है, क्योंकि इस समय जो परिस्थितियां चल रही हैं उसे आप सब देख रहे हैं। हमारे रीजन में ही आज जो स्थितियां उत्पन्न हो रही हैं उससे आप सभी अवगत ही नहीं हैं बल्कि अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। हमने हमेशा ही एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल नेशन होने का रोल बड़े संयम से निभाया है, सदैव निभाया है। हम लगातार इस बात के पक्ष कर रहे हैं कि समस्याओं का समाधान बातचीत के जरिए से हो, परंतु इसका अर्थ यह नहीं है कि हमारी सहनशीलता का कोई नाजायज फायदा उठाए। यदि कहीं कोई हमारे इस संयम का फायदा उठाने की कोशिश करता है तो उसे कल की तरह ही क्वालिटी कार्रवाई का सामना करने के लिए भी पूरी तरह से तैयार रहना होगा। कल की तरह ही क्वालिटी कार्रवाई का सामना करने के लिए उसे तैयार रहना होगा। भारत की संप्रभुता की सुरक्षा में कोई भी हद हमारे लिए बाधा नहीं बनेगी, इसका मैं देशवासियों को भरोसा देता हूं। मित्रों, ऐसे रेस्पॉन्सिबल रेस्पॉन्सेस के लिए हम आगे भी पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं। और यदि हमारी यह तैयारी बनी हुई है तो इसमें आपका एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है, बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। इसके लिए मैं आप सबको बधाई देना चाहता हूं, आप सबकी मैं सराहना करता हूं। भारत का यह एक्सपैंडिंग डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिवर्स, भारत का यह एक्सपैंडिंग डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिवर्स भारत को एक अभूतपूर्व संबल प्रदान कर रहा है। और इसी प्रकार अगर आज के ग्लोबल सिनेरियो पर नजर डालें तो ग्लोबल ऑर्डर में हमें बड़े बड़े चेंजेस देखने को मिल रहे हैं। हमारे सामने कई अनसर्टेन डायमेंशंस ओपन हो रहे हैं। यूरोप से लेकर एशिया तक हर जगह कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स बढ़ते जा रहे हैं। यूक्रेन रशिया कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, इजराइल पैलेस्टीन टेंशन और मिडिल ईस्ट अनरेस्ट ने यह साबित कर दिया है कि ग्लोबल स्टेबिलिटी आज अपने आप में बहुत ही फ्रेजाइल है। अभी पिछले कुछ समय से हमें यूरोपियन यूनियन और नाटो के सिक्योरिटी सिनेरियो में भी काफी हद तक बदलाव देखने को मिल रहा है। जो यूरोपियन यूनियन एक समय पर बड़े स्तर पर नाटो पर डिपेंडेंट था, वही यूरोपियन यूनियन आज बड़े स्तर पर रीअर्मामेंट की ओर तेजी से बढ़ रहा है। जाहिर सी बात है कि जब विकसित देश रीअर्मामेंट की तरफ बढ़ेंगे तो आर्म्स एंड इक्विपमेंट की डिमांड भी स्वाभाविक रूप से बढ़ेगी। बढ़ेगी क्या, बल्कि मैं यह कह सकता हूं कि यह डिमांड लगातार नई ऊंचाइयां छू रही है। हाल ही में मैं स्टॉकहोम इंटरनेशनल पीस रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट की एक रिपोर्ट पढ़ रहा था और अभी कुछ दिन पहले उन्होंने एक रिपोर्ट जारी की है और उसी रिपोर्ट में यह बताया गया है कि वर्ल्ड मिलिट्री एक्सपेंडिचर 2024 में $2,718 बिलियन तक पहुंच गया है, जो अपने आप में मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत बड़ी बात है। यदि मैं और मेरे कहने का अर्थ यह है कि चाहे डोमेस्टिक डिफेंस रिक्वायरमेंट हो या इंटरनेशनल, आज आर्म्स एंड इक्विपमेंट तथा डिफेंस प्रोडक्ट्स की रिक्वायरमेंट पहले से कहीं ज्यादा है और आपके द्वारा किए जा रहे प्रयासों से इस देश का जो डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर है वह ब्रांड इंडिया फिलॉसफी के साथ विश्व में अपना सिक्का जमा सकता है। साथियों, ऐसा नहीं है कि यह बात मैं सिर्फ कहने के लिए कह रहा हूं, हमने पास्ट में ऐसा करके दिखाया है। यदि मैं आंकड़ों की बात करूं तभी 2024-25 के फाइनेंशियल ईयर में हमारा डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 24,000 करोड़ के रिकॉर्ड आंकड़े को पार कर गया है और यह हम सबके लिए प्रसन्नता की बात है कि हमने इस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त किया है। लेकिन हमें यहां पर रुकना नहीं है, हमारा लक्ष्य इससे कहीं अधिक बड़ा है और हमने निर्धारित किया है कि 2029 तक डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट को कि इस आंकड़े को बढ़ाकर हमको 50,000 करोड़ तक ले जाना है और 2047 तक जब हम पूर्ण विकसित एक डेवलप्ड नेशन के रूप में खड़े होंगे, राष्ट्र बनेंगे, उस समय तब तक तो हमें दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा डिफेंस एक्सपोर्टर बनना है। लक्ष्य बड़ा होना चाहिए, तभी हम कुछ कर सकते हैं। इतने बड़े लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति के लिए बेहद जरूरी है कि हम अपने डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट की क्वालिटी को लेकर पूरी दुनिया में एक ट्रस्ट डेवलप करें, लोगों का दिल जीतें, लोगों का भरोसा जीतें। डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट का एक्सपोर्ट करने से पहले हमें इस ट्रस्ट को एक्सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा। डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट का एक्सपोर्ट करने से पहले हमें उस ट्रस्ट को एक्सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा, तभी यह होगा। साथियों, उसके लिए हमें क्वालिटी को लेकर किसी पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट की रिस्पांसिबिलिटी या प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस के स्टेज तक ही सीमित करके नहीं देखना होगा, बल्कि क्वालिटी हमारी गाइडिंग फिलॉसफी होनी चाहिए, हमारा यह कल्चर होना चाहिए जो डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में शामिल हर डिसीजन, हर डिजाइन और हर प्रोसेस और हर इंडिविजुअल तक अपना इन्फ्लुएंस रखे। हमारा पूरा डिफेंस इकोसिस्टम तभी मजबूत हो सकता है जब हम क्वालिटी बेंचमार्क्स को गंभीरता से लेंगे। मुझे देखकर भी खुशी होती है कि आप लोगों ने क्वालिटी के महत्व को पहचाना है, समझा है और जिस डेडिकेशन के साथ और जिस विचार के साथ आप क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट पर ध्यान दे रहे हैं, वह निश्चित रूप से आने वाले समय में भारत के डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को एक नई ऊंचाइयों तक ले जाएगा, ऐसा मेरा पक्का विश्वास है। साथियों, वैसे तो आप सभी क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट की दिशा में बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जाते जाते मैं अपनी तरफ से कुछ सुझाव भी आप लोगों को देना चाहूंगा। आप सब तो जानते ही हैं, आज के जमाने में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी की भूमिका कितनी बढ़ गई है, कितनी महत्वपूर्ण हो गई है। इसलिए आपको इस बात पर भी ध्यान देना होगा कि रियल टाइम क्वालिटी मॉनिटरिंग के लिए हम किस तरह से आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स और मशीन लर्निंग जैसे टूल्स का प्रयोग कर सकते हैं। साथ ही साथ इवॉल्विंग ग्लोबल टेक्नोलॉजीज के साथ अलाइन करते हुए हमें अपने जो स्टैंडर्ड्स और टेस्टिंग प्रोटोकॉल्स को भी अपडेट करते रहना होगा। हमें टाइम बाउंड क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस क्लियरेंसेस पर भी ध्यान देना होगा ताकि किसी प्रोजेक्ट को लेकर अनवांटेड डिले देखने को न मिले। साथियों, मेरा यह भी मानना है कि हमारी क्वालिटी असेसमेंट एजेंसीज को अपनी डेफिशिएंसीज पर भी हमेशा ध्यान रखना चाहिए और किस प्रकार इन डेफिशिएंसीज को मॉडर्नाइजेशन और टेस्टिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के डेवलपमेंट के द्वारा दूर किया जाए, उस पर भी कार्य करते रहना चाहिए, ऐसा मेरा सुझाव है। और इस प्रकार नीश टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में लगातार गैप एनालिसिस करते रहना एक आवश्यक कदम होगा। डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन और भारत सरकार आपके साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलने के लिए तैयार है और हम आपके फीडबैक का भी स्वागत करेंगे। और सिक्योरिटी डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन के रूप में भी संजीव कुमार के रूप में भी एक डायनेमिक आपको सिक्योरिटी भी मिला है, यह भी सौभाग्य की बात है। जो क्रोधित नहीं होते बल्कि मुस्कुराते ही रहते हैं, चाहे चैलेंज कितना भी बड़ा हो। और साथियों, हम आपके फीडबैक का भी स्वागत करेंगे। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हम सब मिलकर क्वालिटी असेसमेंट और क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस के आपके प्रयासों को और गति प्रदान करेंगे। मुझे इस बात का भी पूरा विश्वास है, जब हम सब मिलकर प्रयास करेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से भारत ग्लोबल डिफेंस मार्केट के की प्लेयर के रूप में इमर्ज होकर ही रहेगा। यही आज की हमारी कॉन्क्लेव के थीम की प्रासंगिकता है। मैं आप सभी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आपने इतने रेलेवेंट टॉपिक पर इस कॉन्क्लेव का आयोजन किया। इस इनिशिएटिव्स के लिए आप सभी बधाई के पात्र हैं और इस कॉन्क्लेव की सफलता के लिए मैं हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देते हुए अपना निवेदन समाप्त करता हूं।
All right, there's a big news break coming in from the speech that the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh made at a public event where he said, if you're going to test our patience, then you will be faced with the quality reaction that took place late last night. More so, the Defense Minister stated that भारत की संप्रदा की सुरक्षा में कोई भी हद हमारे लिए बाधा नहीं बनेगी, that there will be no boundary that India will not cross to protect the sovereignty and the safety of the country. What's also, viewers, of importance here is that he said, stressing on India's responsible action. Moreover, news break right now coming in as well. Special briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs on Operation Sindur in its second chapter will take place at 5:30 p.m. this evening. So we will hear from the Ministry of External Affairs on what really went down yesterday that forced India's hand to use drones to attack Pakistan's military establishment. I want to cut across right now immediately to my colleague Shivani. Shivani, the defense minister there speaking at a public event gave us message very clear to Pakistan that India will go all the way. There is absolutely no stopping India to protect its sovereignty and the safety of its citizens and the country. He used the word responsible response late last night.
Preeti, exactly what Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, highlighted was the minimum collateral damage that was in place by India, and there's no limit to protect the sovereignty of the country. We can go beyond borders too. That's what he said. And he also appreciated the quality, the precision with which these strikes were taken ahead, and he also once again reiterated the number of terrorists out here. He said that many terrorists, he has not given out numbers here, but he has indicated that this was a big damage to the terror outfits in Pakistan. This message from Defense Minister Rajnath Singh says that we have responded responsibly, but he also indicated that the quality of response that was carried out must be known to Pakistan also without naming, but he has given very clear indications that if further response or retaliation comes, India is ready for any kind of action and Pakistan should be ready for eventualities. So this is a big message once again after Operation Sindoor Chapter 2 that happened later last night and today itself, Preeti. So this is yet again a message, a strong message for Pakistan that kindly mend your ways, otherwise India can do anything and we do not have any limitations of the boundaries too. So the quality of our defense equipment, the quality of our missile systems, the latest assets, the aircraft, all what we have capabilities to take down any misadventures that are directed or eye towards India's sovereignty.
Well, a measured but a very, very stern response and a message coming in from the defense minister where he was speaking at a public function, clearly stating that there's nothing, there is no red line for India when it comes down to protect the sovereignty of the country and the safety of its people. We will go all the way. We will not attack, but we will respond for sure. He also went on to say that what happened yesterday was a responsible counter-reaction to what misdemeanor, misadventure Pakistan had embarked on without naming Pakistan. Listen in what the defense minister said.
हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने कल जो कार्रवाई की है और जय हिंद जो शौर्य और पराक्रम दिखाया है उसके लिए मैं हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। पाकिस्तान और पीओके में जिस तरह से हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने टेरर कैंप्स को नेस्त नाबूद किया है वो हम सब के लिए एक गौरव का विषय है। क्वालिटी की क्या भूमिका होती है, यह क्या रोल अदा करती है, इसका नमूना हमने कल देखा। जिस प्रेसिजन के साथ यानी जिस सटीकता के साथ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर एग्जीक्यूट किया गया वह अनइमेजिनेबल है, बहुत ही सराहनीय है। इसमें 9 टेररिस्ट कैंप्स तबाह हुए और अच्छी खासी संख्या में आतंकी मारे गए। जिस तरह से इस ऑपरेशन को किसी भी इनोसेंट को नुकसान पहुंचाए बिना मिनिमम कोलेटरल डैमेज के साथ अंजाम दिया गया, वह इसलिए संभव हो पाया क्योंकि हमारे फॉर्मिडेबल एंड प्रोफेशनली ट्रेन्ड आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के पास इक्विपमेंट भी हाई क्वालिटी के थे। साथियों, मैं समझता हूं कि इस दिशा में प्रयास करने का यह सबसे उचित समय है क्योंकि इस समय जो परिस्थितियां चल रही हैं उसे आप सब देख रहे हैं। हमारे रीजन में ही आज जो स्थितियां उत्पन्न हो रही हैं उससे आप सभी अवगत ही नहीं है बल्कि अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। हमने हमेशा ही एक रिस्पांसिबल नेशन होने का रोल बड़े संयम से निभाया है, सदैव निभाया है। हम लगातार इस बात के पक्ष कर रहे हैं कि समस्याओं का समाधान बातचीत के जरिए से हो, परंतु इसका अर्थ यह नहीं है कि हमारी सहनशीलता का कोई नाजायज फायदा उठाए। यदि कहीं कोई हमारे इस संयम का फायदा उठाने की कोशिश करता है तो उसे कल की तरह ही क्वालिटी कार्रवाई का सामना करने के लिए भी पूरी तरह से तैयार रहना होगा।
Underline that what the defense minister says, don't test our patience. If somebody tests our patience, they will get a befitting response like India did late last night. All right, the latest news that is right now coming in. Lahore airport closed till morning 6 p.m. Word also coming in that all airports across Pakistan have been shut till interim notice. Till further notice is what we've been given to believe. More so, Pakistan has suspended operations on all airports in Pakistan. Lahore airport also closed till 6:30 p.m. Word coming in that the government in Pakistan has given full free hand to the Pakistan army to now escalate in whatever manner they deem fit. So full reins to the Pakistan army, something which was already always there, viewers, has just been verbalized by the Pakistan parliament. More so, word coming in that Lahore airport has been closed till 6:30 p.m. So the Pakistan clearly looking to escalate. Shivani, what more can you add?
Preeti, certainly with the meeting that Pak Prime Minister has just conducted, the NSC meeting, and after which the message that is once again coming through the Pakistani media, because we are awaiting that statement before we confirm it. The statement is to be confirmed officially, but what is coming from Pakistani media that after this meeting, the full authorization to the Pakistani armed forces has been given by the Prime Minister to take and to respond to India's action. That's what is a message that Pakistan is trying to escalate the situation further. It has also been added that the armed forces of Pakistan will be choosing their time and their kind of action. So this is a retaliatory response after they failed 2 times to the responses of India after Operation Sindur. Yesterday evening, when they tried to target our military establishments, they were
Shivani, hold on to that thought. We're going to just touch on them, because yesterday you heard the defense minister also elucidate that clearly don't test our patience, which Pakistan did, because you'll be met with a befitting response. I want to bring in Mir Farid, my colleague who's joining us from Srinagar. Mir, what did you pick up? Because late last night, there were indications that Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu were also on the radar of Pakistan to attack. Of course, these attempts were thwarted by India, but that sinister plan was there.
Yes, Preeti, and we came to know about it the very day, in fact, just yesterday in the morning when civil traffic on Srinagar airport was closed. Air Force took it over, and there were first indications that there could be inputs that Pakistan could try to hit these air bases. Now, these are tactically, strategically, the most significant Air Force assets against Pakistan, against China. If you talk of the Kashmir Valley, you have the Avantipura Air Base, which is again tactically very important. Then you have the Srinagar Air Force Base. Now, in fact, Srinagar is also significant because for the first time when the Indian forces landed, it was a Srinagar airport. So that in many ways is also in that way significant for Pakistan to hit. In fact, just yesterday in the morning, there were rumors from Pakistan and the propaganda that they have already hit the Srinagar Air Force, which were categorically denied and turned out to be fake. So these airports were on the highest alert, and been told that these missiles that were fired were intercepted successfully, and they did not manage to hit any of their targets. Now, also, importantly, the PL-14E weapon systems that Pakistan boasts and are China supplied, MAC-5, they have been used against the Indian aircrafts yesterday during Operation Sindur. So Pakistan was boasting about the fact that they have a very robust, very potent air defense system. And the latest addition to this, the MAC-5 surface-to-air missiles, which are very long range, were used successfully against Indian aircrafts. And just 24 hours after that, and post another Pakistani escalation where they tried to hit targets in India, there has been a response from the Indian side. Now, we know drones in this modern warfare are underrated, but have been used very successfully in various conflicts, be it Russia, Ukraine, be it the Middle East, where they have hit their targets. And also importantly, they can fly low, they can evade aerial air defense systems of various countries. That is a proven fact, and it is now a very potent modern war weapon. And it seems those have been activated in this case, and they are very effective, can take a lot of payload as far as explosives are concerned, and can potently hit their target. So this is in many ways a crippling blow. But yes, Pakistan has threatened retaliation. It is being pushed to the wall by this, and that obviously is keeping the Indian defense on the highest alert, be it air or be it ground assets.
And then all of that has been bolstered by the fact that Pakistan's National Security Council that met a short while ago has given a complete free hand to the Pakistan Army to react or rather escalate in whichever way they choose fit, and that they will do so at a time of their choosing. All of this in perspective, the Pakistan in any case in the army in Pakistan in any case calls the shots, so you've only verbalized where the Pakistan's National Security Council is concerned on what is actually a fact on ground. But having said that, the fact that it has been made public that a free hand has been given to the Pakistan's armed forces to react in whichever way they deem fit. At the back of it, news is coming in that all air operations in Pakistan from multiple airports have right now been temporarily suspended. Indian Defence Forces now, Shivani, on high alert because in all probability we are looking at a picture where Pakistan could escalate even more.
Yes, definitely, Preeti. The Defence Forces of India on the grounds and the Air Force also, they are on a high alert, even for that matter, the Indian Navy that has been active in the Arabian Sea since last 15 days after the Pahalgam attack happened. We've seen how demonstrations have been happening and all the systems are in place. The assurances have been coming from the Defence Minister time and again. Prime Minister had given a warning and we saw what happened in Operation Sindur. So the alertness, the preparedness is at place and strategically prepared program. The Operation Sindur has been successful. The retaliation was expected and so are the preparations of the armed forces. So the defense forces have kept all their systems at place. Pakistan may choose to retaliate, but India has time and again said that we believe in dialogue, but nobody can test our patience. So if Pakistan chooses to retaliate, it will have to suffer even in a bigger manner because, you know, today's strikes, what have happened at the air defense systems that have been destroyed and damaged, that have happened in a proportionate manner. That was the mention categorically in the release that we received, the statement that we received, Preeti. So now if Pakistan chooses to escalate further, then India will give it a bigger response, a response which India is capable of, and India is capable of defending its sovereignty, the people, the borders. So all the assets are at place. The armed forces are ready for any kind of situation as it escalates, and Pakistan needs to think twice before the misadventures.
You know, I just want to reiterate, viewers, 5:30 p.m. when the Indian Ministry of External Affairs is going to come out with a press conference. We saw that yesterday at 10:30 a.m. where the entire world was debriefed on Operation Sindur, the fine print, the modalities of it. Now Operation Sindur clearly in its second phase where Pakistan act of escalation late last night and India giving a proportionate response to that. We will expect a 5:30 debriefing by the Ministry of External Affairs on where India stands in the current context. We've given back a proportionate response. We have been successful in doing so. Pakistan's attempts through the course of late last night were completely thwarted and repelled, and India was able through drones to attack key military installations in Pakistan. India's hand was forced to retaliate, and India did not shy of the retaliation and gave it back in proportionate response. We are expecting that press conference at about 5:30 p.m. this evening where we're going to get a larger understanding. I want to bring in Mir again. Mir, of course, word now coming in from Pakistan. All airports in Pakistan have been suspended for any activity and there is no time limit. All right, we don't seem to have Mir anymore.
In fact, all
okay, go ahead.
measures Pakistan is taking, and then you also have, Priti, we also know US has sent advisory to its consulates, especially in Lahore, to go, in fact, take shelter or try everything to move out of the place. Also have everything ready, which obviously comes in as far as the response to such a situation is concerned. So basically, they also understand the situation on the ground is very tricky. It can change quickly, and obviously Pakistan with these meetings and also the threat of retaliation obviously has gone bigger now, considering that they are feeling hurt. There is no doubt about it. If you follow the statements of the Pakistan army, their social media, in fact, political class, they are hurt, and obviously the people would also be basically seeing how the army is reacting to it, how they're taking measures, and the army obviously in the scanner of the people as well. So there are various factors that could define the response of Pakistan army to this. But yes, India has replied proportionately, as Shivani was talking about the fact that India in its press releases or briefings has made it clear that they have not escalated it. The way Pakistan has struck or has tried to strike, India has acted proportionately. So that is something that has happened, but obviously this is escalation, and it is escalating as far as the escalation ladder is concerned. Now we have a situation where you have escalation happening, and we don't know what will happen next as far as the situation goes. But yes, Pakistan definitely desperate. They have been pushed to the wall by these measured responses from the Indian side, and now they have been hit not only in POK but in mainland Pakistan. So that is also that could be.
Mir, I'm going to come right back. So multiple developments that are taking place right now. 5:30 p.m. We're going to hear from the Ministry of External Affairs. Meanwhile, the United States of America has issued a clear advisory for all its citizens to leave Lahore or seek shelter. Does that have a larger implication to it? All air operations in Pakistan across airports have been suspended. Well, this is what we know till now. We will learn more at 5:30 p.m. where India will address the world on the latest flashpoint that took place late last night with Pakistan's escalation and India's appropriate retaliation. Let me cut across now to my colleague Gaurav Samant.
Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you at a time when India-Pakistan tensions are at an all-time high. Just late last night, Pakistan attempted to target 15 sensitive military locations across the length and breadth of our country. And over the course of the next 1 hour, I get you details of Pakistan's attempt that failed, but Pakistan's desperate attempt to actually escalate tensions. And I want you to look at this map of our country so that you can understand. Avantipura in the north, Srinagar, that's in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu, very, very sensitive military bases that Pakistan tried to target. Remember, India targeted 9 terror headquarters and bases in Pakistan, and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan tried to target military installations in India, and not 1 and not 2 and not 3, but 15 across the entire line of control south of Zojila and along the international border, all the way from Punjab to Rajasthan to Gujarat. And take a look at these targets. What were the places that Pakistan attempted? So Pathankot, it's a very sensitive military location. What else did it try? Ludhiana, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Jalandhar, Adampur, very sensitive military locations, each and every one of them. And Adampur is a military airbase, a frontline fighter airbase that Pakistan has repeatedly tried to target virtually in every conflict with India. Let me now come out of Batinda and the military bases in Punjab and come down to Nal, Falodi and Uttarlai. So bases again close to the international border in Rajasthan. So they've targeted Jammu and Kashmir, attempted to target in Jammu and Kashmir, in Punjab, in Rajasthan and Bhuj in Gujarat. 15 places they tried, 15 places Pakistan failed. What's extremely significant is the fact that India used the Sudarshan Chakra of Yogeshwar Sri Krishna, symbolically and metaphorically. Remember, in India's history, Yogeshwar Sri Krishna, in our culture, in our civilizational history, 100 sins of Shishupal were forgiven, and then the Sudarshan Chakra was used to vanquish evil. That's exactly what India did at Muridke and at Bahawalpur. For 30 years plus, Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror has bled our country, as has Pakistan Army. Remember the 1993 Mumbai blast. 257 people were killed, more than 700 were injured. 12 blasts across Mumbai in 1993. And all along then after that, whether those were attacks that were taking place in Jammu and Kashmir, where the entire Kashmiri Hindu community, the Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out of valley, where Raliv Galiv Saliv was chanted from the mosques in Kashmir, and the nation stood. Pakistan continued to get emboldened. It spread terror in Jammu and Kashmir. It spread terror in Punjab. It spread terror across the length and breadth of our country. And I want to show you for a moment on the map places that have been targeted by Pakistan terror. Jammu and Kashmir has been targeted. Punjab has been targeted. Uttar Pradesh has been targeted. Remember, whether it was Ayodhya where terror attack took place, or there were other places where terror attacks took place, including at the Sankat Mochan Mandir in Ayodhya, Ram Mandir they tried to target. Rajasthan, Jaipur bomb attacks, you remember. Gujarat, you'd recall, Gujarat, 57 people were killed in 2008 when there were serial blasts in Ahmedabad, and the worst blast that took place was at the civil hospital, and then next day in Surat they planted claymore mines on trees to kill people. We've covered all of those terror cases on ground. Let's come down to Maharashtra, Mumbai 26/11, before that 2006, before that 1993, and series of attacks. Remember Bengaluru, Indian Institute of Sciences, where a scientist was killed. So what was Pakistan targeting? Pakistan was targeting centers of science, centers of culture. Maharashtra repeatedly center of economy. That is what Pakistan has repeatedly targeted, and then India said enough is enough. What did India do? India targeted 9 places in Pakistan as part of Operation Sindur. Remember, this is the place, this is Srinagar, and right next to it is Pahalgam, and in Pahalgam is where Pakistan targeted those Hindu tourists. In front of the wives, husbands, they were asked their religion. When they said Hindu, they were shot dead at point blank range. And that is where Operation Sindur started. What was Operation Sindur? Target terror at base. This, Lahore, right next to it is Muridke. In Muridke, you had the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba decimated, destroyed. Then this is Bahawalpur. Bahawalpur, incidentally, is also the 31 Corps headquarters of the Pakistan Army. Bahawalpur is also the headquarters of Jaish-e-Muhammad. And Bahawalpur, the Masjid-e-Subhanallah, which is right on the outskirts of Bahawalpur, that was destroyed. And I'll show you images during the course of this broadcast where the wreath laying was done even on behalf of Pakistan Army Chief. You know, can you imagine in any country where the Army Chief would have wreath laying at the funeral of a terrorist, the Corps Commander in attendance, military honors being given to a terrorist? What more direct link does the world want to see between terrorism and Pakistan Army proven? I'll get you much more on this detail. Pakistan's attempt that failed and India's attempt that succeeded in taking down Pakistan's air defense system, not just here in Lahore, but also near Gujranwala, in Rawalpindi, and 3 other places, including in Sialkot and in Karachi. I'll get you much more during the course of the next 1 hour. But first, let me take you through the top developments of the day. Pakistan's attempt to escalate tensions with India by targeting military installations in 15 cities in the northern and western parts of the country, including in Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Pakistan's attempts foiled by Indian Armed Forces response. Responding strongly to Pakistan's bid, Indian forces targeted and neutralized Pakistani air defense radars and systems at several locations, including in Lahore, Karachi, Rawalpindi and Sialkot. India thwarted Pakistan's nefarious attack by deploying the S-400 air defense system, the Sudarshan Chakra. Sources say India also used Israeli Harop drones to disable Pakistan's air defense radars. India conducted a series of drone strikes in Lahore, in Karachi and in Rawalpindi, where Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir sits. Pakistan's military says 4 of its soldiers have been injured in the drone strike. Chaos erupted outside Rawalpindi Stadium after the drone attack, and amidst heightened tensions, Pakistan is likely to shift the PSL matches to Karachi. Incidentally, there was a PSL match tonight at Rawalpindi that's been called off. Amidst rising security concerns in Pakistan, the United States Consulate in Lahore has issued a very strict security alert for all American citizens in and around Lahore. In its directive, the consulate has instructed their personnel to either avoid travelling to Lahore, leave the city, or find secure shelter immediately. Panic grips Pakistan after India's sustained attacks on Pakistan state-sponsored radical Islamist terror, even in Islamabad. However, it is unclear from the video if the sirens were sounded in Islamabad due to this emergency or some other reason. And joining me now on this India Today special broadcast are two very special guests and analysts who understand what's happening on ground very effectively. With me is my colleague Sandeep Unnithan, and also with me is Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon, former Kashmir Corps commander and former Director General of Defence Intelligence Agency, someone who was there in that hot seat as Chinar Corps commander at the time, not just of the Pulwama terror attack, but India's counter-strike that took place, and of course also at the time of the abrogation of Article 370. Gentlemen, welcome. I want you to look at these images. What's happening in Lahore, in Rawalpindi, multiple Indian drone strikes that have taken place in Karachi, Islamabad, Gujranwala, and also in Chakwal. That's a message that's being sent out to Pakistan. So amidst what's happening on ground, the Indian Armed Forces have responded to Pakistan's desperate attempt last night by striking at specific targets. Pakistan's air defense systems in Lahore, Islamabad, Sialkot, and also in Karachi. Now, Pakistan Army General Headquarters. Pakistan Army Headquarters is in Rawalpindi. A stadium right next to it was targeted. The signaling is very clear. If we can target that cricket stadium, we can target GHQ Rawalpindi, and of course Para, which is the ISI headquarters in Islamabad, or between Islamabad and Rawalpindi. What are the cities that have been targeted? Gujranwala, Chakwal. Air raid sirens are being heard across Pakistan. S-400 missile defense shield was used when Pakistan launched its attack. Now, Pakistan's attack is escalatory. Why? Because India had targeted 9 terror targets in Pakistan. Unless, of course, Pakistan says terrorists are a part of their army. It's just that they don't wear uniform. They do get pensions, incidentally, and out of ISI budget. Pakistan army pays a pension to terrorists. It's Pakistan's worst kept secret, but it's true. But Pakistan tried to launch an attack on military installations in India, and that's clearly an escalation. Blasts have been reported in Karachi and multiple other locations that's caused panic in civilians. A Pakistani minister, a Pakistani member of National Assembly was crying. He's an ex-army major, I must warn you. Perhaps that's the reason of tears. Pakistan army does two things. It trains terrorists. It fights in wars that it loses. It then takes off its trousers like it did in 1971 war, 90,000 trousers hanging in India, according to Akhtar Mengal, former chief minister of the state of Baluchistan, occupied Baluchistan, Pakistan. Because Pakistan targeted Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Jalandhar and several other attempted to target these locations, there were retaliatory strikes, and this gentleman started crying. Listen in.
हमारी कमी है, हम मजबूर हैं, हम गुनाहगार हैं, लेकिन रब्बे काबा हम तेरे हबीब के उम्मती हैं, खुदा का वास्ता हमसे रहम का भला फरमा। आप चले जाएं, उधर फिलिस्तीन में चले जाएं, कश्मीर में चले जाएं, जहां भी जाएंगे मुसलमानों के साथ वो ऐसे रो रहा है जो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं। तो तू हमें माफ कर दे, हम तेरे आगे सर झुकाते हैं, माफी मांगते हैं। नहीं, इसमें दो राय नहीं है मौला कि हम बड़े गुनाहगार हैं, लेकिन तेरी रहमत बहुत वसी है।
Pakistan is in tears, but often these are crocodile tears, and that is why India must be very careful each time that India has trusted Pakistan or even spoken to Pakistan. It's had a history of stabbing us in the back. And I've reported on that history from that Lahore bus journey in the February of 1999. There was so much hope in India that Pakistan wants peace with India. They want that Lahore peace process, and they stabbed us in the back with Kargil. Remember, then we invited Pervez Musharraf, a military dictator, to India, gave him a Tri-Services Guard of Honor, accepted him as president of Pakistan. He had actually usurped power, but we accepted it. And we gave him a Tri-Services Guard of Honor. We invited him to Agra for a summit. He went back and there were more terror attacks in India, including the attack on the Indian Parliament, which of course led then to a standoff that took place, which is Operation Parakram. But that coercive diplomacy clearly doesn't work. This is what works. If you want to bring Pakistan terror, their military jihad infrastructure to its knees, I want to show you why Pakistan still hasn't learnt its lessons. After those 9 strikes at military locations, at terrorist locations in Pakistan, Sandeep, they tried to target our military locations. And I want Sandeep Unnithan to explain to you in great detail, why this was a grave attack on Indian military installations. Srinagar, for example.
Well, Gaurav, if you look at the kind of attacks that Pakistan seems to have launched last night, it's a swath of Indian territory starting from Jammu and Kashmir, the Srinagar Air Force Base, right down to Gujarat, 1,600 kilometers away. They have targeted 15 military sites, and we think those military sites are air bases. The Pakistan military was signaling to us that it could strike at our air bases, but of course they were repelled. The S-400, our counter-US systems, went into action immediately, stopping that wave of drones and missiles that they launched at us. So huge success for India's air defense systems, right from Jammu and Kashmir to the Bhuj Air Force Base, Uttarlai, another frontline fighter base. All of these, if you look at Gaurav, they have deliberately targeted all Indian Air Force bases, all along the northern and western borders of India.
So significant. Remember, it's the Indian Air Force that struck the terror bases in Pakistan, and that's the signal that Pakistan is giving to India. We'll strike at your air force and your air bases. But what they forget is we have families at our air bases.
Yes.
Dare not do that. You dare do that. And I want to bring in Shivani Sharma for more on this, and Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon also with me on this broadcast. Shivani, bring us details about Pakistan's attempts and India's strike back, because India's strike back is very, very important, Shivani.
Gaurav, what we've seen after Operation Sindoor is the escalation that Pakistan has been rendering, and it has been trying to attack the military establishment along the western border, the 15 major locations. That's what the release also said, the military establishments. And as you were also pointing out, all of them happen to be the important air bases. And not only that, they were neutralized. Today morning, again, their air defense systems have been damaged, and the Harpy missiles have been used there. And after that, there was a meeting there in Pakistan in which once again they're talking of responding to India's action. So Pakistan is not going to mend its ways, it seems, but India is ready. We've heard the Defense Minister, Gaurav, how Defense Minister has said that no limit when it comes to protect the sovereignty of the country. So we know that the Indian Defense Forces are all prepared. It was a part of Operation Sindoor. They expected that the retaliation will come from Pakistan, as Pakistan is known for its misadventures. So once again, here we are right now in the Uri sector, where we are witnessing there is huge deployment of the army. The alertness is high. There's collaborated attempt by all the security forces to thwart any kind of misadventure, not only on ground, but also in the skies. All air assets are activated. The Indian Defense Forces are telling and giving a strong message to Pakistan that we will not bear any kind of misadventure or any kind of attempt to thwart the sovereignty, and we are ready with all our modern
repeatedly targets our military installations and especially our air bases. I want to bring in Lieutenant General Tiny Dhillon for more on this. General Dhillon, you read the enemy's mind, especially as DG DIA. What do you make of the choices of target as far as Pakistan was concerned, especially targeting all the frontline air bases from Srinagar to Bhuj?
Good evening, Gaurav, and good evening to all your viewers. Targeting of the frontline air bases and the frontline military headquarters is an age-old practice by all the militaries. Basically, they want to down your air force. And this used to be done when the air force or the aircrafts did not have a very large flying range. That means they may come from whichever air base, they have to touch down at the frontline air base, refuel, go out, come back, land at the frontline air base, refuel again, and go back to their mother air base. But today, that is not the case, and especially with the Air Force inventory which India has. I will not go into the specifics of the capabilities, but the Air Force inventory which India has, we need not touch down on the forward air bases. whether going inside Pakistan or coming back from Pakistan.
And that's the
So
point
that
I
is
was coming to. Why would Pakistan target our frontline air bases when they know we have tremendous depth and they know that we have our mid-air refuelers? So this is another message that they're sending, especially when they try and target it all the way from Srinagar down to Bhuj. And 15 of them, stay with me for a moment, General. I want our viewers to understand what is India's Sudarshan Chakra. And you must know about our Sudarshan Chakra, the S-400. So what did Pakistan do? It launched a wave of missile and drone attacks attempting to target multiple military installations. The incoming attack was effectively intercepted and thwarted by the S-400 Sudarshan Chakra, the air defense system. Now, this is the made in Russia S-400, the world's most advanced long-range surface-to-air missile defense shield. It can detect, track, seek and destroy aerial threats, including drones, for example, cruise missiles, supersonic cruise missiles, ballistic missiles and fighter jets. Imagine if a missile is at 50,000 feet altitude or an aircraft is flying at the limit of its flying envelope at 50,000 feet, this missile can destroy it. If it's just about sea skimming missile that's coming in at 10 meters, it can destroy it. It's a highly responsive lead air defense system with a detection range 600 kilometers away. That's the sweep of the S-400 system and the ability to intercept targets 400 kilometers away. It plays a very vital role in neutralizing any incoming threat. We've seen it in action now. We've heard of it in action now. It's capable of engaging 70 targets, more than 70 targets simultaneously. This is our missile defense shield. India's ordered 5 of these, 3 of them are already in action. Now, how does this compare, for example, to Israel's Iron Dome system? They're, of course, completely different systems, if I may, but in a way, that's a short-range defense system. This is a short, medium and long-range. And Sandeep will tell us much, much more about the S-400 systems. Sandeep.
Gaurav, you said it all. The S-400 is one of the most capable long-range air defense missile systems, in the world today. There is no system like this, with the possible exception of the American THAAD, which is an anti-ballistic missile system. But the S-400 was bought precisely for this reason, Gaurav. It tackles a range of threats. It tackles everything from cruise missiles to ballistic missiles to, of course, aircraft, highly maneuvering targets, missiles. All of these things can be tackled by the S-400 system. It's got a very long-range radar. That's at the heart of the system, really. It's got a radar that can pick up targets over 500 and 600 kilometers away. It can track 300 targets simultaneously and then choose to engage 30 or 40 of them simultaneously with a range of missiles. It's got about 4 different types of missiles. The shortest one has got a range of about 50 kilometers. The longest range of the missile is about 3 to 400 kilometers. That's a very, very potent missile system. And today, we've seen it in action for the first time, Gaurav. This, like you said, three of them have been acquired. 2 more are coming, and possibly given today's, given the track record of that missile system today, the fact that it's been deployed in combat, it's done a fantastic job from the Air Force's perspective, neutralizing Pakistan's late-night attack. This possible that we could go in for more such systems, Gaurav.
Oh, absolutely. This is what is required. And imagine there was so much pressure in India not to buy it. The Americans also, friends of ours otherwise, had put in so much pressure. Don't buy this. Go in either for the THAAD or the F-35s and that'll integrate with the system. And India said no. And this is what will tell you, trust your defense planners, trust those men and women in uniform. And of course, in wartime, your government, because they will deliver like they are, at least as of now. The Narendra Modi government actually went out on a limb and said we will buy the S-400 systems. I want you to take a look at this breaking news that's just coming in. India has released water from the Baglayar and Salal Dam just as we speak. And I want you to look at those images that we're about to show you. The Salal Dam gates have been opened And now it's been raining in India almost non-stop. It's been raining in parts of Jammu and Kashmir, and because of that, the dam is almost full. So India has released water at the Salal Dam. Amidst this heavy rainfall, Salal Dam gates have been opened. Now there's a water crunch in Pakistan. Now they'll be flooded. They have as much water as they want and more, except of course, no information is being shared with a country that would send drones and missiles into a country. I mean, you can't give them water when they want and when they don't want at a time when they're killing you. But I want Munish Pandey, who joins us for more on the story. Sunilji Bhatt also joins us from Jammu and Kashmir for more on the story. Sunilji, give us the latest information. You're right there at Ramban. Tell us what's happening.
Gaurav, it was raining very heavily since late last night in most parts of Jammu and Kashmir, including Ramban. Remember, there is a Baglihar Dam on the Chandrabhaga River in Ramban district of Jammu and Kashmir. There is Salal Dam in Riyasi district of Jammu and Kashmir. And after there was heavy rainfall, since the reservoir has limited capacity to store water, so that is why gates of these dams were opened, and it has created panic in Pakistan, as Pakistan now fears that there could be flood-like situation. Although this practice was, was earlier also, that whenever there was heavy rainfall, gates were opened, or whenever, the flow was normal, then sometimes gates were also closed, because the hydroelectric power projects require enough water for electricity generation. The difference now is that we are no longer bound to share any real-time data with Pakistan, whether it's about the increase in water flow, whether it's about the water level in Chandrabhaga River. So it's a twin strike on Pakistan. On the one hand, we have explored military options. We have hit hard Pakistan, and on the other hand, we are also going to choke Pakistan, and we are going to release water at our own will, as per our own convenience, and we are going to sometimes stop also the gates whenever we require it. And we have demonstrated our skills that we can choke Pakistan. This weekend, we closed gates of both Salal Dam as well as Baglihar Dam on Chandrabhaga River, and there was panic in Pakistan. Chandrabhaga River had dried almost, and Pakistan feared that it may not get enough water for its Kharif
Keep
crops.
tracking that story. I'll come back to you for more. For a moment, there's breaking news coming in, and I quickly want to cut across to that big story that's coming in. The Ministry of External Affairs is to give details of what Pakistan did and how India responded in a short while from now. This will be a briefing by Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri on Operation Sindur. What we're also being told, Colonel Sophia Qureshi of the Indian Army and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh of the Indian Air Force will be a part of this very significant briefing. Kamaljeet Sandhu, my colleague, joins me for more on the story. Kamal, massive escalation by Pakistan in the past 12 hours, it seems, 12 to 16 hours.
Gaurav, you and I both know in the past 3 decades or so, what we've seen is that Pakistan has utilized proxy war, bleeding India by 1,000 cuts. So that's a use of strategy by using non-state actors. But in conventional warfare, India's military might has always been superior. And that is what has been proven on ground. Because the misadventure first, the Pahalgam attack, then thereafter targeting of civilians across the line of control where I'm standing at this point of time. And thirdly, it is about launching of missiles and drone attacks, especially targeting 15 Indian cities. This actually shows the sort of sinister plan Pakistan has. Meanwhile, India has aimed at a military strength. Not only have they fended off this particular attack, they have launched a counter-attack by utilizing the drones. And this is where they have neutralized the defense systems targeting India. This is a clear message from India that this is non-escalatory, because this is a commensurate measure which has been taken by the Indian Defence Forces, especially in regards to the measures taken by Pakistan in terms of launching attacks, be it on an important defence installation or important cities, be it in Jammu and Kashmir, be it in Punjab. So we've seen earlier in the day, whether it's Amritsar or whether it's Batinda, several of these places where what we saw was some remnants of missile being found, and earlier there were explosions heard in the night in Amritsar as well. even in Gurdaspur, and that is why people were suspicious that something is really happening. But it was India's defense system totally at work. So it has worked in favor of India at this point of time.
We will show our viewers images. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We want our viewers to see images from across the border that we're showing them right now. The destruction that's been caused by India. And Shivani, the fact that Pakistan's air defense system has been taken down, your sources explaining the logic behind India's action, not escalatory, at the same time punitive and demonstrative.
Certainly, Gaurav, by damaging the air defense systems of Pakistan, India has given a strict response by negating the ability of Pakistan of defending itself and giving it a message that if you try another time, India will strictly go inside and they will show what the capabilities are. So this is very symbolic, Gaurav, that air defense systems have been now damaged by India, and the pictures of which, the videos of the devastation has been circulating now after India's response that has been given after Pakistan tried to intrude into Indian borders with its drones and other targeting the infrastructure, the military infrastructure inside the western border, the 15 locations. But now India has neutralized that threat. India is ready for any kind of retaliatory response if it comes further. And the air defense systems of Pakistan have been totally crippled at 3 important places, be it Lahore, Sialkot and Karachi. So this is what India has done at the major locations of Pakistan where the army is based out there. These air defense systems have been damaged.
And Sandeep for more on this, and we're keeping this really pacey as the press conference is about to begin. General Dhillon, the suppression of enemy air defenses is a very important part of combat, but are we then wargaming an escalation, and that is why destroying the enemy's air defenses already?
Absolutely, Gaurav. Suppression of enemy's air defense system not only weakens the enemy against our air force, it also exposes its installation, the very vital installations which we may like to hit in case there is an escalation and we go in for a full-fledged war. And having said this, I just want to make a point about releasing the water from our dams at around 5 o'clock India Standard Time. You know, the water takes time to reach a particular place. When the water is released at 5 in the evening from Indian dams, it will reach the areas where it has to cause devastation by about midnight. And as we are all aware, the response or the action by various people when the water hits at midnight, and that is going to be different than if it had hit during the daytime. So it's all very strategic, it's all very calibrated, it's all very coordinated. And one thing which has happened after Indus Water Treaty has been held in abeyance, the non-sharing of data is the most important tool in India's hand now. As was explained by your colleague, so when we do not share the data, that means we have the surprise with us. At the press of a button, the water will get released.
That special briefing about to begin, General, and I want you to stay with us, listen to that briefing because I'll come back to you for an analysis of that. But Sandeep, every bit is being war game to the T in terms of the suppression of enemy air defenses at this stage. It's a signal to the enemy. You try something, there are consequences for you.
Absolutely, Gaurav. You try something, there'll be consequences for you. And the most important takeaway from that big drone strike today launched by India is that we struck them in broad daylight. Not in the middle of the night when Pakistan launched its attack against Indian air bases. We struck in broad daylight where civilians, Gaurav, were filming this with their smartphones and passing those visuals across the world. Those visuals of Indian kamikaze drones in their death dives are going to be seen across the world, felt all across Pakistan, seen by every nation of consequence. This is what General Asim Munir has brought unto the people of Pakistan. He thought he was going to be unpredictable. Well, he faces an Indian political establishment that's even more unpredictable. And they have war-gamed all of the steps in the escalation ladder that you and me have been discussing over the last 2 or 3 days. And they have war-gamed it. And they're not going only with kinetic options. They're going by using economic, diplomatic, political, and of course, regulating the supply of the Indus waters.
What a significant point. What an important point made by Sandeep Unnithan here. If Pakistan, we've grown up with that thinking, Arey, Pakistan ko kuch mat bolna. It's a very unpredictable country. Arey, it's a country which is not run by their political leadership, strengthen their political leadership, their military takes all the decisions. It is very unpredictable. अब तुम्हारा बाप है. He is even more unpredictable is the thinking in India. General, is that the way India is responding? That we are even more unpredictable than you are. You watch out what we do next as a country in response to Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror that's been bleeding us for decades. General Dillon, can you hear me, sir? General, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Gaurav, I can hear you and I understood that point. And it's a very, very relevant point. See, surprise or being unpredictable is the main norms of a warfare. Like I was giving a point about Indus Water Treaty, the release of water, and this, this concept which you just explained, good man, bad man. In India, the whole world always believes if a good man goes, another good man will come in. Because we are a democratic country. Whereas in Pakistan, everyone believes, "Arey yaar, protect this bad man. The next man may be even worse than him."
Yes.
But they don't know bad man, bad man, bad man, bad man in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
So today also they are trying to protect the present regime just because they fear कि इनसे भी कोई बुरा आएगा. So that has been exposed. That has been exposed. Can be worse than this combo in Pakistan, who targets innocent civilians on the name of religion in front of the children, wives and parents, and then they target innocent civilians across the line of control.
Yes.
Just because they do not have the gumption to attack a military installation, which they tried at 15 places as per the reports, and they failed in all.
Oh, absolutely. They tried and they failed.
Taken out. Now they don't know what to do. So only thing they can do, which they know best, and they have been doing it for last so many decades, is to kill the innocent civilians. They did it in Pulwama, they did it in Pahalgam, and now they're doing it in Poonch, Rajouri, Jammu, Uri, and all these places.
Absolutely,
this is
16 people.
Non-ethical regime.
It's a non-ethical regime. General, you've made a very critical point. And for the benefit of viewers who are just joining us, I'll tell you what's happened. So Pakistan launched a strike at 15 different locations from Jammu and Kashmir through Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. It failed. It failed in all 15 places. But what did India do next? I want to explain Operation Sindur, the details of what India has done. What did India target? And I want you to look at this. Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi is general headquarters, the Pakistan Army headquarters. This is where Pakistan's army chief sits. Incidentally, it's not the GHQ that was targeted. It was a cricket stadium not far. So that signaling is very clear. Then Lahore cantonment has a missile defense system. Lahore, incidentally, is a very important core headquarters in Pakistan. So that core headquarters, the missile defense shield there has been taken down. It's again a very important point that's been made. The third place that was targeted is Sialkot. Remember, Sialkot was also targeted when that missile strike had taken place. The Hizbul Mujahideen, very major camp there, that was targeted. But this time, that heavily militarized area in Sialkot, which often can be used, barely 6 kilometers from the international border, is where they were amassing, where they had the terror camps, but their army has been amassing a little before that. That too has been taken down. So these are some of the places. Of course, there are others which we'll wait for the government to put more information out in public domain. We will tell you about it once the government makes it official. But even in some other places from where Pakistan thought it could attempt to target India, SEAD. SEAD is a very important concept, which is suppression of enemy air defenses, and that is what India has done in a very crucial point, because that arc that you see, Pindi, Sialkot and Lahore, that arc now makes Pakistan very vulnerable in a very sensitive part. Anyway, if you notice, it's such a tiny country. When you look at Pakistan, all the way from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir down to Pakistan's Punjab province, and then, of course, now you come down to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa on the other side, you come down to Baluchistan and then Sindh this side. It's a very narrow country. Muhammad Ali Jinnah said he'd got a moth-eaten country. That moth-eaten country is now even in more trouble. Shivani Sharma with me on this. And Shivani, the Indian Armed Forces have to remain on alert, because Pakistan will not just, stay back with this. You're in a very sensitive location right now, very close to the line of control. Pakistan may attempt something in Jammu and Kashmir, all across the international border.
Gaurav, since last 2 nights, there's heavy artillery firing that's going on at the line of control, in which innocent civilians have lost their lives. 16 lives have been lost, and Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire since last 14 days, since the Pahalgam attack. And after Operation Sindur, it started heavy shelling on line of control. And now we are seeing that the armed forces are on a high alert, because we know what kind of misadventures Pakistan has been into. It has been endorsing the terrorists, and that's why it has been hurt very bad after the terrorist outfits have been neutralized by India in Operation Sindur. We've seen the janazas and the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan offering his prayers out there. So this is why Pakistan is disturbed, agitated, very uncomfortable, and it wants to retaliate. That's what it did last night. And India is ready to respond in any manner. And remember what Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, was speaking a while back. He was saying that this was a proportionate action from India, but we can go all out to defend our sovereignty. The air power, the Indian armed forces power, the military power and capabilities are much ahead of Pakistan. So India is on a high alert, and India has already warned that it doesn't want any escalation. But if Pakistan wants, we are ready.
Okay. India's steps so far and Pakistan's escalation. General Dillon, as Kashmir Corps Commander and after that as Director General of Defense Intelligence Agency, you read the Pakistani mind and especially their military mind. Would they further escalate, or would they think, especially after the air defenses have been compromised in very critical parts, would they be thinking what India's next response will be, or will they further, that's almost like a game of brinkmanship. Will they, in this game of brinkmanship, take it one level higher, thinking they have a better card? Ultimately, they know they don't, but will that be their attempt?
Gaurav, I'm not sure whether intentionally or unintentionally you use the word Pakistani mind and military mind. And you're so right in that. Pakistan military does not think with a military mind. They think with the Pakistani Punjabi Musliman's mind. And they do not think of the consequences of a military escalation, military actions escalation for their country, for their economy, for their people and for their military. They think only this कि पंजाबी पाकिस्तान मुसलमान के मुरीद के और भावलपुर में हिंदुस्तान ने हमला किया तो मेरी चौधरपन को अटैक हो गया, मेरी नाक कट गई, अब मैं इसका बदला लूंगा. No, this is Pahalwani thing which happens in the villages of Punjab. This is what's happening on the border of India and Pakistan and line of control of India and Pakistan is not a village of Punjabi Pakistan. They must understand this, their psychology, the psyche has to grow out of a very chap of Pakistani Punjabi village to a statesman at international level. You are heading a country. You are trying to save a country. Your population is at stake. Your economy is at stake. Your reputation is at stake. You are laying wreaths on the dead bodies of terrorists when the whole world is fed up with terrorism.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
then you have a nuclear weapons. The whole world looks at you laying the wreath on the dead bodies of terrorists. What sort of a responsible state you are that you can be trusted with the nuclear weapons? So these are the major strategic or international points which the world is watching them, and they are not getting out of the mentality of a Punjabi Pahalwan.
But you know, the
They have
point
to
that you
understand-
raised, which is very significant, that Pakistan army there at wreath laying of terrorists killed in Muridke and in Bahawalpur, including the corps commander of Bahawalpur and army chiefs wreath being laid there, Pakistan army chief. This is reason enough to put them on the Financial Action Task Force grey list once again. But I want our viewers to know India's strengths, and I want you to see some of these weapons of war, not just the S-400 systems that we spoke of. I want you to look at the Harrops. Again, amazing bit of technology that India has used. The Harrop drones used by India. Now, when you look at these drones, they're very small in size, and that is very small cross-section on the radar. Israeli Harrops are known as the killer drones. They're also known as kamikaze or suicide drones. Remember in the Second World War, when the Japanese soldiers had attacked, the Air Force had attacked Pearl Harbor, they went Tora, Tora, Tora. Why? Because their attempt was one-way flight, ram into the American fleet in Pearl Harbor and destroy it. And that's exactly what they did when they did Tora, Tora, Tora. Those were kamikaze pilots or suicide pilots. Now, in 2025, you have kamikaze drones, drones that will slam into the target and destroy it. It's a drone with a bomb that's attached to it, with the explosive attached to it. Combined capabilities of a UAV and a missile that's rolled into one to seek a target, and it has a seeker. It seeks the target, it can spot the target, zero in on it, and then slam into it, destroying it completely. But that's just one kind of drones that India has used. There's another kind of drone that India has used, and you'll be very proud of it. It is a made-in-India drone, and they've used 82mm mortars on a quadcopter. This is what war does. It teaches you a lot of innovation. That's exactly what India has done. Some of those images that you see, which the Ministry of External Affairs showed you yesterday, those images actually show you a quadcopter. They don't show you the quadcopter, but they do show the mortar underneath, dropping with gravity, pinpoint accuracy, taking down the jungle training center of the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir of Jaish-e-Mohammed. So that's the kind of technology India has. The Harrops, which incidentally now are also being made in India. What does the Harrop do? It loiters in the skies. It searches for the enemy. Then it tracks the enemy. It identifies the target that's been fed into its memory. And then with pinpoint accuracy goes slam dunk down into the target. There's a loud explosion and the target has gone. For example, this time it is the air defense system of the Pakistan army that cost them 1,600 crore rupees. It's just gone. That's the nature of warfare. And that's the nature of warfare where India invested effectively in the S-400 system that can look at multiple targets simultaneously up to and take them down up to 400 kilometers away. We went for the Russian system. The Pakistanis went for... Okay, so I also want to quickly tell you, these are images that are coming in from the Ministry of External Affairs. That's Vikram Misri, who's already in there. The Foreign Secretary of India, that's Randir Jaiswal, the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, Joint Secretary in the MEA. So just in seconds from now, perhaps that press conference is about to begin at the Ministry of External Affairs office. And perhaps this is a briefing where you'll also have a lot of foreign journalists and Indian journalists and those officers of the army and the Air Force. Wing Commander Vyomika Singh and Colonel Sofia Qureshi already in. Let's listen in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this briefing by Foreign Secretary Sri Vikram Misri on the ongoing developments regarding Operation Sindur. We also have with us Colonel Sofia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh for this briefing. With that, I hand over the floor to Foreign Secretary. Sir.
Thank you, Randir. Good evening. Thank you all for joining for this briefing. You would have perhaps seen some information related to developments since late last night, early this morning, which has been put out by the Ministry of Defense. Just in case it has been missed, I will request Colonel Sophia Qureshi and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh to just update you and fill you in on the details.
Thank you, sir. ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर 7 मई 2025 को हुई प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के दौरान भारत ने अपनी प्रतिक्रिया को केंद्रित, संतुलित और गैर उत्तेजक बताया था। यह विशेष रूप से स्पष्ट किया गया था कि पाकिस्तानी सैन्य ठिकानों को निशाना नहीं बनाया गया। साथ ही दोहराया गया कि भारत में किसी भी सैन्य लक्ष्य पर हमले का उचित जवाब दिया जाएगा। 7 से 8 मई 2025 की रात को पाकिस्तान ने उत्तरी और पश्चिमी भारत में स्थित कई सैन्य ठिकानों को, जैसे कि अवंतीपुरा, श्रीनगर, जम्मू, पठानकोट, अमृतसर, कपूरथला, जालंधर, लुधियाना, आदमपुर, भटिंडा, चंडीगढ़, नाल, फलौदी, उत्तरलाई और भुज पर ड्रोन और मिसाइलों से हमला करने का प्रयास किया। इन हमलों को इंटीग्रेटेड काउंटर यूएस ग्रिड और वायु रक्षा प्रणालियों द्वारा निष्क्रिय कर दिया गया। इन हमलों का मलबा कई स्थानों से बरामद हुआ, जो कि पाकिस्तानी हमलों का प्रमाण है। On the night of 7th May 2025, Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India using drones and missiles. These places included Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Nal, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Falodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj. These were neutralized by the integrated counter unmanned aerial system and other air defense systems. The debris of these attacks is now being recovered from a number of locations that prove the Pakistani attacks. आज सुबह भारतीय सशस्त्र बलों ने पाकिस्तान के कई स्थानों पर वायु रक्षा रडार और प्रणालियों को निशाना बनाया। भारत की प्रतिक्रिया समान क्षेत्र में समान तीव्रता के साथ की गई। यह विश्वसनीय रूप से ज्ञात हुआ कि लाहौर में स्थित एक वायु रक्षा प्रणाली को निष्क्रिय कर दिया गया। Today morning, Indian Armed Forces targeted air defense radars and systems at a number of locations in Pakistan. Indian response has been in the same domain with the same intensity as Pakistan. It has been reliably learnt that an air defense system at Lahore has been neutralized. पाकिस्तान ने नियंत्रण रेखा पर आकरण गोलीबारी की तीव्रता बढ़ा दी है, जिसमें कुपवाड़ा, बारामूला, उरी, पुंछ, मेंढर और राजौरी क्षेत्रों में मोर्टार और भारी तोपखाने का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। Pakistan has increased the intensity of its unprovoked firing across the line of control using mortar and heavy calibre artillery in areas in Kupwara, Baramulla, Uri, Poonch, Mendhar and Rajouri sectors in Jammu and Kashmir. 16 innocent lives have been lost, including 3 women and 5 children, due to the Pakistani firing. Here too, India was compelled to respond to bring mortar and artillery fire from Pakistan to a halt. Indian Armed Forces reiterate their commitment to non-escalation, provided it is respected by the Pakistan military. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Friends, this is, as I said, further to the briefing that was provided yesterday and some of the updates that have been just provided by Colonel Qureshi and Wing Commander Singh. I thought that we would just put some of the aspects related to the events that started on 22nd April with the barbaric terror attack in Pahalgam into further context, because there is a certain amount of commentary that has happened with regard to the events since then. And more than the commentary, there has been a lot of disinformation that has been directed at us from across the border. So a few things that I would like you to keep in mind. First of all, there is mention on all sides of escalation. I think the first point that you have to keep in mind is the attack of 22nd April in Pahalgam is the original escalation. ये जो सिलसिला है जो हम देख रहे हैं आज की घटनाओं को लेके, ये 22 अप्रैल के पहलगाम के हमले से शुरू हुआ है. एस्केलेशन वहां पे हुआ है और उस एस्केलेशन का जवाब भारतीय सेना ने, भारतीय फौज ने कल अपने एक्शन से दिया है. Secondly, I want to invite your attention to the involvement of the group calling itself the Resistance Front in these attacks. I pointed this out yesterday that this is a group that is a known front for the well-known Pakistan-based terrorist organization, Lashkar-e-Taiba. The group has been reported earlier. I mentioned to you about the Indian authorities providing information to the UN 1267 Sanctions Monitoring Committee. And in fact, we are going to be meeting with the team again very soon, and we will be providing an update to the information that we have provided earlier. But what is interesting, दिलचस्प बात यह है कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा समिति में जब पहलगाम के हमले को लेके एक प्रेस वक्तव्य जारी करने की बात चल रही थी, तो आप सोचिए किस देश ने टीआरएफ का, द रेजिस्टेंस फ्रंट का उसमें मेंशन किया जाना, उसको अपोज किया, पाकिस्तान ने. This was after the fact that the TRF claimed responsibility for this attack not once but twice, within a few hours after the incident on the 22nd of April, and then again on the morning of 23rd April. And it is perhaps only after the full gravity of the incident was realized by its masters and handlers across the border that it was managed to back off from this claim. Obviously, that retraction doesn't convince anybody. तीसरी चीज जो मैं आपसे कहना चाह रहा था, और कर्नल कुरैशी और विंग कमांडर सिंह ने कल भी बड़े स्पष्ट शब्दों में और आज भी आपसे ये बात साझा की है. जो भारतीय रिस्पॉन्स है वो नॉन एस्केलेटरी है, प्रिसाइज है, सटीक है, मेजर्ड है और कंसिडर्ड है. Our intention has not been to escalate matters. We are only responding to the original escalation, as I said, and our response has been targeted, precise, controlled and measured. Only no military targets have been selected. Only terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan has been hit. Now, there are, as I said, a number of issues that have been raised in commentaries, and there's a lot of, as I said, unfounded disinformation and fabrication that has come from across the border. And I would just like to use this opportunity to set the record straight on some of these issues. The first of these is Pakistan trying to wash its hands off any and all involvement with terrorism. I think the Pakistani information minister said there are no terrorists in Pakistan. And I think he was challenged on that in the television program that he was appearing on. But even if I partially repeat myself from yesterday, I think Pakistan's reputation as the epicenter of global terrorism is rooted in a number of instances where concrete evidence is available, not just to India, but to governments and authorities and agencies around the world. There are several terrorist attacks around the world where Pakistani fingerprints have been found. I don't need to belabor the point with regard to this audience about where Osama bin Laden was found and who called him a martyr. Pakistan has also for decades pursued cross-border terrorism into India with impunity. And as I said yesterday also, in order to deliberately mislead the international community, they claimed that the terrorist Sajid Mir was dead. They came under pressure, and Sajid Mir was then brought back to life, arrested, and is now apparently in Pakistani custody. Pakistan is also home to a very large number of UN proscribed as well as UN proscribed terrorists, as well as terrorists proscribed by a number of other governments in the world, including, of course, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed, as well as their leaders, Masood Azhar and Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. आपने देखा होगा हाल ही में पिछले ही कुछ दिनों में पाकिस्तान के रक्षा मंत्री और उनके पूर्व विदेश मंत्री दोनों ने इस बात को माना है कि पाकिस्तान का ऐसे ग्रुप्स के साथ जो रिश्ता है वो क्या रहा है. Both the defense minister and the former foreign minister of Pakistan, I think they've done a more eloquent job of this than I could ever do in terms of describing their country's implication in international terrorism and their involvement in housing these kinds of groups. दूसरा जो विषय है वो है पाकिस्तान का जो एक दावा है कि एक इंटरनेशनल impartial investigation होना चाहिए, एक joint investigative committee होनी चाहिए. These calls for jointly investigating this heinous and barbaric attack in Pahalgam. Again, I think you know the history well on this. You know the track record well, and it is not a bright track record insofar as Pakistan is concerned. In fact, in the pursuit of justice for the victims of multiple terrorist attacks, whether it be Mumbai in 2008, in Pathankot in 2016, or many others. But in particular for these two attacks, India had offered to cooperate. India provided forensic evidence and urged Pakistan to bring the perpetrators of these attacks to justice. We, in particular with regard to the Mumbai attacks of 2008, where a Pakistani Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist was captured alive, India provided extensive information and evidence related to the involvement of Pakistani terrorists in this attack. Cases were registered, but you are all aware that these cases have not progressed, despite the formation of judicial teams, etc. And Pakistan has consistently stonewalled all efforts to move the investigation along. In fact, with regard to the Pathankot attack as well, a joint investigative team was formed. We gave access, unprecedented access, I should say, to Pakistani team to the site of the attack. Details of call records data, and DNA, etc., were shared with Pakistan. We had shared with them details related that we had been able to access to the addresses of terrorists. We presented evidence against the office bearers of Jaish-e-Mohammed who had conspired in the attack, and the handlers of the terrorists who facilitated them and guided them in. But there has been no movement on this. So in all of this, I think the experience has not been positive, and it certainly doesn't give us the confidence now to take at face value Pakistani assertions of wishing to participate in a joint investigation. These are just delaying tactics. These are just stonewalling tactics. And in fact, there is reason to believe that Pakistan uses the evidence that we provide only to cover its tracks and, in fact, defend the terrorists who we are looking for and obstruct the path of investigation. A third point that I wanted to address was the claim that only civilians were killed in the strikes on the 7th of May. We have made the point very clearly that all attacks on the morning of 7th May were against carefully selected terrorist infrastructure, terrorist targets. It is not clear to us, in fact, seeing some of the coverage of the after effects of these strikes, including the funerals for the terrorists that were held yesterday. I think a lot of you have seen the reports and the coverage on media. If only civilians, if any civilians were killed in these attacks, I wonder what message this picture actually sends to all of you. This is a question that is worth asking. It's also odd that the funerals of civilians are carried out with the coffins being draped in Pakistani flags and state honors being accorded. As far as we are concerned, the individuals eliminated at these facilities were terrorists. Giving terrorist state funerals may be a practice in Pakistan. Doesn't seem to make much sense to us. Pakistan has also claimed that India deliberately attacked religious sites. This is completely false again. I have made it clear that the targets were terrorist infrastructure, terrorist facilities, and locations connected clearly with incidents of cross-border terrorism into India. And it is in fact Pakistan that is misusing religious sites as a cover to in fact radicalize, direct and indoctrinate and train terrorists. In fact, contrary to what Pakistan is claiming, yesterday Pakistan launched a targeted attack on the Sikh community in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, hitting Gurdwara in Poonch and the homes of Sikh community members, which came under attack. And we know that at least 3 individuals were killed in that particular attack. Pakistan is also making attempts to, in fact, just to add to this point, the retaliatory action that Pakistan has taken, in fact, is impacting civilians. I showed you the picture of the Gurdwara and the Sikh community members who were killed in this. There are other civilians also who've been killed and injured in these attacks. In fact, since yesterday morning, a total of 16 civilians have been killed and 59 others have been injured in the attacks by Pakistan. Not only this, Pakistan is also making attempts as part of its disinformation campaign to paint our action with regard to cross-border terrorism through the communal angle. If that is the issue, then I think I can do no better than to cite or point you in the direction of the Pakistan Army Chief's speech of 16 April 2025. I think that is the last word in communal rhetoric. And in the Pahalgam attack itself, you are aware of the kind of religious profiling that was done there. And perhaps there is a linkage between these two events. I can only say that these nefarious designs will not be allowed to succeed in India. And it is to be noted that people from all faiths, all religions, all regions in India have unequivocally, not just in India but around the world, have condemned these attacks. The Pakistani claims of now responding to India's strikes of the 7th of May. As I said right at the outset, it is India which is responding. The original escalation was by Pakistan on the 22nd of April. We are the ones who are responding to that escalation with the action that was taken yesterday morning. And again, I would like to emphasize that the action was restrained. It was directed towards non-civilian, non-military targets and confined to terrorist camps. And again, as we have been saying since yesterday, any further action by Pakistan, some of which we are seeing today, is nothing but escalation by Pakistan now, once again, and will be responded to and is being responded to appropriately. One point that I wanted to also address was the allegations to the targeting of a dam, the Neelam Jhelum project in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. I want to say that this is an absolute and complete fabrication and a blatant lie. India has targeted only and only terrorist infrastructure, and the details of that terrorist infrastructure, together with the locations, were shared with you yesterday by Colonel Qureshi and Wing Commander Singh. I should note that if this kind of a claim is a pretext for targeting Indian infrastructure of a similar nature, Pakistan will be entirely responsible for the consequences that will undoubtedly follow. Finally, I want to address some issues that have been raised related to the Indus Waters Treaty and the disinformation that has been raised in regard to that as well. The fact is that there have been fundamental changes in the circumstances in which the Indus Waters Treaty was concluded, and they call for a reassessment of the obligations under the treaty. Over the last year and a half to 2 years, India has been in communication with the government of Pakistan. We've sent several notices to them requesting for negotiations to discuss modification of the treaty. India has for 6+ decades now, honored the treaty, even during periods when Pakistan imposed multiple wars on us, and even when relations were adversarial. Pakistan is the one that has been acting in violation of the treaty, deliberately creating legal roadblocks in India exercising its legitimate rights on the western rivers. Any projects that India sought to build on the eastern rivers, and even on the western rivers, which we are allowed to by the treaty, were always challenged by Pakistan, thereby hampering our rights to utilize our legitimate waters under the treaty. In fact, if you see the preamble of the treaty itself states that the treaty was concluded in a spirit of goodwill and friendship. Mark those words, concluded in a spirit of goodwill and friendship. ये भारत का धैर्य और भारत की सहनशीलता है जो 65 साल से हम इतनी प्रोवोकेशन के बावजूद इस ट्रीटी को निभा रहे हैं. However, as has been made clear earlier as well, Pakistan has not responded to our requests to enter into negotiations for a reassessment of the obligations under the treaty. A number of conditions have changed. This is a treaty that was based on the engineering techniques of the 50s and the 60s. We are living through the first quarter of the 21st century. Technological changes and technological advancements have to be taken into account. There are demographic changes. There are climate changes that have taken place. There is the imperative of clean energy. And of course, the terrorism that Pakistan has wreaked in the state of Jammu and Kashmir itself has hampered India's ability to exercise its rights under the treaty. Pakistan's persistent refusal to respond to our requests to enter into government-to-government negotiations on the modification of the treaty is, in a sense, itself a violation of the treaty. And therefore, India has taken the step of putting the treaty in abeyance until Pakistan abjures irrevocably its support for cross-border terrorism. Maybe I'll stop there. I mentioned earlier yesterday as well that this is an evolving situation. I would therefore ask all of you to be considerate and restrained. It will not be possible for us or my colleagues from the armed forces to share operational details at this point in time. Beyond that, if you have any questions, may I have time for only a few, and I'll try to answer those questions.
Okay, I give the floor to Rishabh.
One Secretary, good evening. This is Rishabh from Times Now. I just wanted to understand, as per the press release that has been released earlier today, it says that we have successfully hit at the air defense of Lahore. Does it give our forces a better chances if in case of further escalation? And are there other air defense places as well at strategic location that were targeted?
Rishabh, you are violating the first rule that I set out at the end of my remarks. The press release that has been issued by the Ministry of Defense today speaks for itself. It is related to operational matters. It's been released by the Ministry of Defense. As more information becomes available, it will be released at the appropriate time. Once again, please don't go into operational details at this point in time, because this is a constantly evolving situation. Yeah, go ahead.
Foreign Secretary Smita Sharma, just wanted to ask, the Pakistani Minister Ishaq Dar in an interview has claimed that the national security advisors of India and Pakistan have spoken to each other. If you could confirm or deny, and is complete severance of diplomatic ties with Pakistan also on the table?
I have no information with regard to contacts between the two national security advisors. Insofar as diplomatic relations are concerned, you've seen the steps that were announced in response to the following the meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security on the 23rd of April. There are no further steps that are under consideration at this moment in time. Yeah, go ahead.
फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी, मेरा नाम मनीष है, मैं TV9 भारतवर्ष से हूं और आपने खुद ही बताया कि कितना मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन क्रॉस बॉर्डर से आ रहा है, बल्कि ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे पाकिस्तान के प्राइम मिनिस्टर और डिफेंस मिनिस्टर तक भी प्रोपेगेंडा करने में मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन में आ गए हैं। वो कई बार तो ये तक दावा करते हैं कि हम 3 राफेल हमने गिरा दिया, इतने हमने मिग गिरा दिए, और जब उनसे पूछा जाता है तो वो कहते हैं कि सोशल मीडिया में हमने ये सब चीज़ें देखी थी। तो अगर आधिकारिक तौर पर अगर आप कुछ कह सकें इस पर, ताकि उन्हें भी समझ में आए कि इस तरह के प्रोपेगेंडा नहीं चलने वाला है।
देखिए, जब सही समय होगा तो आधिकारिक तौर पे इसके बारे में सूचना दी जाएगी, लेकिन जो आपका प्रश्न है कि प्रधानमंत्री और उप प्रधानमंत्री और विदेश मंत्री, उनके रक्षा मंत्री इस तरह की बातें कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें अचरज की कोई बात नहीं है। आखिरकार ये एक देश है जिसने अपना इसका जन्म लेते ही झूठ शुरू हो गया था। 1947 में जब पाकिस्तानी फौज ने जम्मू कश्मीर पे दावा बोला, तो उन्होंने किसी ऐसे वैसे व्यक्ति से नहीं, संयुक्त राष्ट्र से झूठ बोला कि हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं है इससे, ये लोग जो गए हैं वो तो कबायली हैं। वो तो जब हमारी फौज वहां पे पहुंची और UN के लोग, संयुक्त राष्ट्र के लोग खुद वहां पे पहुंचे, उन्होंने देखा कि वहां तो पाकिस्तानी फौज घुसपैठ करके आ गई है, उसके बाद पाकिस्तान को मुंह की देखनी पड़ी और उनको मानना पड़ा कि हाँ, उनकी फौज वहां पे कुछ समय से पड़ी हुई है। तो ये जो यात्रा है एक तरह से 75 साल पहले शुरू हो चुकी है, तो आई एम नॉट सरप्राइज्ड दैट दिस काइंड ऑफ disinformation is being indulged in. Yeah, Siddhant.
So Siddhant from Beyond. Sir, we have seen a lot of negative comments coming from the Pakistani military of escalation. If tomorrow there is an escalation, there are strikes, we know one attempt has been thwarted, what will be the Indian response to those attempts of creating more escalation? Because it is looking like it's going towards more escalation. And my second question is, are any other world powers, essentially the P5 countries, the West Asian countries, reaching out to de-escalate the current situation?
Look, on escalation, we've already made our stance clear. I mean, there are two basic points. First of all, it is Pakistan that escalated on the 22nd of April. We are only responding to that escalation. And then what we have said yesterday and what my colleagues have said today, that now if there is an attempt at further escalation by Pakistan, it will be responded to in an appropriate domain. And therefore, the choice is entirely that of Pakistan to make. As to your second question, I don't think I can do better than to point you in the direction of the statements that are being made from practically every chancellery in the world and the sentiment that they are carrying. That sentiment essentially and for the major portion is support for the government of India in the context of the condemnation of the terrorist attack in Pahalgam on the 22nd of April. There is wide recognition of the government of India's right to respond to these attacks in self-defense, and of course a desire to ensure that there is not further escalation. I think these statements speak for themselves. Yeah.
Sir, this is Mausami from India Today. Now, in the all-party meeting, we have learned that the defense minister has said that, you know, in the Operation Sindur, almost 100 terrorists were killed. Would we have any details about what is the number like, and also about if there were any big faces, masterminds, terrorist masterminds who were in fact killed? There is also a report that Masood Azhar's family's 10 members have been killed, and Rauf Asghar, who was actually the mastermind of Pulwama, he's also been badly, severely injured.
I don't have information at this point in time to share with you on these issues, but as I said, I think, there is so much information out there on television, in the news media, in social media, that it sometimes looks like a long time has passed since this. Please understand that slightly over 36 hours only have passed since this operation was undertaken. Let us have some patience. Information will come out. It will be shared in due time. Shruti.
Thank you, Foreign Secretary. Shruti Ranjan from Bloomberg. Sir, could you give us any understanding whether India has moved the IMF or the World Bank to kind of, sensitize them about the the bailout that Pakistan has and, the kind of stuff that the Pakistan government is doing?
Look, we have an executive director at the IMF. Tomorrow there is a meeting of the board of the IMF, and I'm sure that our executive director will put forward India's position. The decisions of the board are a different matter. You know the process through which they are made. But I think the case with regard to Pakistan should be self-evident to those people who generously open their pockets to bail out this country. And since you are from Bloomberg, I think you would have the data on how many IMF bailout programs have been, very good, thank you, have been sanctioned in the space of the last 3 decades. And I think you would also have an idea of how many of those programs have actually reached successful conclusion. Probably not many. So I think this is a decision that board members have to take by looking deep within themselves and looking at the facts.
So we can, one last question, sir.
Sure.
One last question.
Foreign Secretary, I'm Siddhant from CNN News 18. I would like to know, since it's an opportunity to speak to you, I would like to know the response coming from United States since last 3 weeks. Saudi Arabia, Qatar. In fact, Prime Minister Modi spoke to Qatar before the strikes that evening. Perhaps how do you read the support coming from these countries? Perhaps traditionally they were seen on the other side. This time around, their statements are strong worded. In fact, India-Saudi joint statement also had a very strong condemnation, strong worded condemnation. United States at all levels have condemned the attack and have extended support. In fact, Saudi Deputy Foreign Minister is in India. He just met EMS Jaishankar. Also, if you could shed some light on his visit, his meeting with EMS Jaishankar. In fact, we have also been told that he met Prime Minister Modi. Thank you.
Look, all the countries that you named and many others, we have been in touch with them. The Prime Minister has spoken to a large number of world leaders. A large number of world leaders have called him, as have called the External Affairs Minister. As we speak, there are conversations going on today as well with world leaders. And your assessment or conclusion of the general tenor of these messages is very much on point. And I think this is a recognition of the fact, firstly, of the barbaric nature, the unprecedented nature and character and features of the attack in Pahalgam, and a recognition of India's right to respond to this. And also a recognition of the fact that in responding, we have been nothing but responsible and have done so in a restrained, in a measured, and in a non-escalatory manner. I think that counts for something. People have taken that into account, and that is what is explaining the kinds of reactions that we are seeing. And we appreciate the sentiments and the statements that have been made by the vast majority of world leaders. Yes, the Saudi Minister of State for Foreign Affairs is in Delhi. He had a meeting with the External Affairs Minister earlier today. I don't have further details at this moment, but if there are details, the ministry will share them at some point with you. Thank you. I think that's all we have time for today. We'll join you again soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so a very, very important, very detailed briefing that you just saw there by, in fact, the forces and the MEN. Several big takeaways. First, we've got details now of the strikes that were conducted on the Pakistan Army facilities and particularly on the missile defense system, and how essentially it was in response to Pakistan through the night targeting 15 locations on Indian soil. So clearly the message is, and Gaurav is with me on this, Gaurav, the message is tit for tat. You come after us, we'll come after you tenfold.
India's response, according to the Foreign Secretary, is one, non-escalatory. It is measured and it is for effect. If you look at what Pakistan did, according to the Ministry of Defense, statements made both by the Army and the Air Force, that they attacked 15 different locations of military importance, whether it's from Srinagar to Adampur. So let's take this state by state. 3 or 4 targets in Jammu and Kashmir, 3 or 4 targets in Punjab, 3 targets in Rajasthan and 1 in Gujarat. Adds up to 15 targets Pakistanis attempted, but the S-400 system was able to neutralize the entire Pakistani assault. And had they succeeded, can you imagine the devastation and destruction at 15 frontline air bases of India? So India has responded in equal measure to deter Pakistan, and that is take down their missile defense system, including in Lahore, and specifically in Lahore. And Lahore has a special significance. That is the heart of Pakistan's Punjab province. The core of Pakistan's army comes from Lahore, and now that place becomes very vulnerable with losing their air defense shield.
3 locations, we're putting that out on our screens, in Lahore, Sialkot and Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi extremely crucial there, because that's a Pakistan Army headquarters. We've struck there too. So Rawalpindi, Sialkot as well as Lahore is where we hit back. But several other takeaways also from the news briefing that you just heard now, perhaps the most detailed since Operation Sindoor, because here you also had the MEA, the Foreign Secretary, going ahead and taking questions as well. A number of issues that he's raised here. One, and very clearly that this is in response to Pakistan. As Gaurav said, it's non-escalatory in nature, but he's also shot off a very, very clear warning, Gaurav, saying to Pakistan, if you hit us, we'll hit you back. And that was the message also on the issue of dams, because there's some propaganda doing the rounds that India attempted to hit Pakistani dams. And so the MEA has issued that warning saying, if you come after any of our resources or infrastructure, we'll be forced to do the same back to you.
You know what Pakistan is doing? It's escalatory. Pakistan's measure saying that Neelam Jhelum Dam is targeted. Neelam Jhelum Dam is a very critical asset of Pakistan, and India is making it very clear we have no intention to target the Neelam Jhelum Dam. But should Pakistan do a false flag and target Neelam Jhelum and then target any of the dams in India, there will be massive consequences for Pakistan.
Let's get you breaking news that's coming in right now. The army chief is meeting with Prime Minister Modi at the Prime Minister's residence. There have been back-to-back meetings that have taken place. Today, you've had a meeting essentially with NSA Ajit Doval this morning with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister then met with the Home Secretary, and now a meeting with the Army Chief. Safe to assume, Gaurav, that this is essentially a briefing perhaps post what's happened along the border.
So far, India was reacting to what Pakistan is doing. But if you notice in Operation Sindoor, India punished 9 different locations, including the headquarters of terror. There's a lot of intelligence input also coming in of what Pakistan can do next. And last night, when Pakistan attempted to target 15 locations, the armed forces knew, they were prepared, and that is why they were not only able to thwart the Pakistani the Pakistani military attack on our military bases, but they were also able to impose costs on Pakistan in terms of the response. Now, the chiefs, the CDS, the National Security Advisor, the entire security apparatus actually war games on the basis of a lot more intelligence inputs that they have on what Pakistan may attempt to do. A sane military mind on the Pakistani side would seek to dial down tensions, but knowing the radical Islamist mind of General Asim Munir, he'll probably try and scale it up. What could be his next attempt to? So to be forewarned is to be forearmed, and that's exactly why you war game what he will do next, so that you not only ensure that he fails, you're able to impose costs on him once again, so that it dissuades him from trying to escalate even further.
The message very clear from the Prime Minister, from the government to our forces. Complete free hand to hit back, retaliate, respond to Pakistan in any manner they deem fit, which is why perhaps in a span of 24 hours, you've seen 2 successful operations, Operation Sindur, and many are deeming what we've seen through the course of last night as Operation Sindur 2.0 as well, because not just have we hit the terror hubs, but the moment Pakistan attempted to retaliate at 15 locations across the country. And Gaurav, you were telling us how this spans across 3,000 kilometers across that entire stretch to repel toward every single attack from Pakistan, and then to hit back at Pakistan where it hurts the most, in Rawalpindi, in Lahore. tells you and speaks volumes of how our forces have been able to really give it back to Pakistan in perhaps the only language that they understand. And so you've got clearly our forces getting that free hand to respond to Pakistan. And obviously at this point, it will be based on that, Gaurav, on how things move, on how things develop. Forces getting that free hand is a big, big advantage, that you don't go back and forth, you immediately act.
You know, you're spot on that. Remember, Pakistan not only killed 25 innocents in Pahalgam, it's killed 16 more, including 5 women and 3 children, and that's really hurting India. Pakistan is killing our civilians and using heavy caliber weapons with 155mm howitzers, heavy mortars, and that's massive escalation by Pakistan. They don't care about Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir and the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the fact that they're killing civilians in Jammu and Kashmir. If I may quickly, in Rawalpindi, which has the general headquarters, as you rightly pointed out, India targeted a stadium very close to general headquarters, because that's the message India is giving. If we can target the stadium, we can target GHQ. Do not escalate. That the battery, the missile defense shield of Pakistan, the air defense system that was taken down, that's again a very important signal being sent out. If we can take this down, we can take much more down, and the 4 core of Pakistan or the Lahore core of Pakistan becomes very vulnerable. But India is not escalating, can escalate, but is not escalating. So that's the message India is giving. Tone down tensions and take action against terror, or we will be forced to.
Very, very true. And Rawalpindi, that cricket stadium, is right next to the army headquarters. And you see those images on your screens also, as well. You know, plumes of smoke emerging from right outside that stadium. It was empty, mind you, because again, let's reiterate here that India has made it very clear we will not resort to what Pakistan does. Of cowardly strikes on civilians. So we're ensuring that civilians are safe in Pakistan. Pakistan, of course, isn't extending that same courtesy. We've been seeing what's been happening along the line of control, where we're being told 13 plus civilian deaths, unfortunately, have been reported. And that's what's warranted these strikes again by India on military establishments. But let's once again recap for you the statements that came in from Colonel Sophia Qureshi as well as Wing Commander Vyomika Singh on these strikes that have happened on Pakistan military establishments now.
Today morning, Indian Armed Forces targeted air defense radars and systems at a number of locations in Pakistan. Indian response has been in the same domain with the same intensity as Pakistan. It has been reliably learnt that an air defense system at Lahore has been neutralized. Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India using drones and missiles. These places included Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Nal, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Falodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj. These were neutralized by the integrated counter unmanned aerial system and other air defense systems. The debris of these attacks is now being recovered from a number of locations that prove the Pakistani attacks.
7 से 8 मई 2025 की रात को पाकिस्तान ने उत्तरी और पश्चिमी भारत में स्थित कई सैन्य ठिकानों को, जैसे कि अवंतीपुरा, श्रीनगर, जम्मू, पठानकोट, अमृतसर, कपूरथला, जालंधर, लुधियाना, आदमपुर, भटिंडा, चंडीगढ़, नाल, फलौदी, उत्तरलाई और भुज पर ड्रोन और मिसाइलों से हमला करने का प्रयास किया। इन हमलों को इंटीग्रेटेड काउंटर यूएएस ग्रिड और वायु रक्षा प्रणालियों द्वारा निष्क्रिय कर दिया गया। इन हमलों का मलबा कई स्थानों से बरामद हुआ, जो कि पाकिस्तानी हमलों का प्रमाण है। Okay, I want to bring in Maushmi Singh, who was at that particular briefing. Maushmi, we were live during that press conference. We heard your question also to Mr. Misri about the death toll, in which he said right now we can't confirm it. It's only been 36 hours. We're still getting details really of what the impact of Operation Sindur has been. But a couple of big takeaways there, and just away from really what the briefing was about the strikes on Pakistani military establishment. There were pointed questions asked about all of the narratives being created on social media, fake news being spread about impact in India, about who we hit, etc. Can you just put that in context for us, or what the Foreign Secretary's message was?
Absolutely, Akshita. The Foreign Secretary was saying that, there's a lot of disinformation and propaganda that is being spread by Pakistan, and we want to reiterate the same thing, that we are just responding to the Pahalgam terror attack. Now, Pakistan wants to justify the action of targeting civilians. Almost 16 civilians dead, more than 30 have been injured, almost 50 have been injured, and Pakistan wants to justify it by saying that we are targeting civilians. All that we know is, and he showed that photograph of how, that a state funeral was being awarded to terrorists, and they were wrapped, the coffins were wrapped in Pakistani flags. That itself proves about the complete bag of lies that Pakistan wants to, in fact, spread as fake propaganda. And on the other hand, he also said that, the fact that Pakistan has targeted civilian installations itself speaks volumes about what Pakistan's intentions are. He also went on to say, very importantly, the highlight that Pakistan is also spreading this propaganda that we should have a joint inquiry. And he cited Mumbai terror attack, the Pathankot terror attack, saying we in fact went more than,
Very important message, Maushmi, from the Foreign Secretary on the images we're showing of how you've seen this massive outpouring of grief from the Pakistan army for these terrorists, and that the MEA very fittingly has said exposes really what Pakistan stands for, and how they consider these terrorists to be heroes. That's the kind of hero's farewell they received in these funerals as well, Gaurav.
Well, imagine a wreath being laid on behalf of the Pakistan Army Chief, Corps Commander of Bahawalpur, being present at the funeral of a terrorist. wreath being laid on behalf of the Lahore Corps commander for terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba at Burid Ke. It just goes on to show that terrorists and Pakistan army, they're just the same. They're brothers, just wearing two different uniforms at times, and often Pakistan army soldiers have worn these, salwar kameez of terrorists and come into our country. That's also been done in the past, sadly. But, Akshita, the massive escalation by Pakistan, sending in their missiles and drones to target 15 different locations in India, that's huge escalation by Pakistan in the past 16 to 18 hours.
Very true. While you and I slept peacefully, soundly through the night, our forces were repelling every single one of these strikes. And I want to decode for you the 15 locations that Pakistan attempted to strike. Why did they choose these 15 locations? Gaurav, you're well versed with this entire 3,000. .323 stretch. Let's take it one by one. The first site where there was an attempt to target was Srinagar. Why Srinagar?
Srinagar is extremely important as far as India is concerned. It's the nerve center of India's operations in the Kashmir Valley. It has an airbase, it has an army, a very significant army core location. It has other military and very sensitive paramilitary and Central Armed Forces locations. So Srinagar is the nerve center. Even in 1947, Pakistan was desperate to occupy Srinagar. They failed, they collapsed, and then they retreated, at least till Muzaffarabad. So that is why they've been trying to get Srinagar since 1947.
So they've been trying repeatedly. This time too, the strike was repelled. Let's talk about Avantipura. Here too, according to the statement that's coming from the government, from the Defence Ministry, there was an attempt to strike Avantipura as well, which is another base.
Again, a very significant air base, a very significant protection for Kashmir base. These are very, very significant bases in Jammu and Kashmir, and Pakistan knows if it wants to, they want to take over Jammu and Kashmir. That's been their reason of existence since 1947. Yeah. So every chief looks at himself as either Muhammad Ali Jinnah or General Ziaul Haq or Muhammad bin Qasim, that they want to take over Indian territory by force, and Srinagar is repeatedly on their radar.
So Srinagar, Avantipura, these are the two locations in Jammu and Kashmir where there were attempts to go ahead and fire missiles. We understand drones and missiles were used by Pakistan. But just look at the contrast then. The entire stretch that Pakistan attempted to target from Jammu and Kashmir all the way to Gujarat to Bhuj, Gaurav, here too missiles, drones were fired by Pakistan.
So if you look at entire map of our country from Jammu and Kashmir, come down to Pathankot, come to Adampur, these are very, very critical. Bhatinda, Jalandhar, very, very critical air bases and military bases that Pakistan chose to target. Look at the mind of General Asim Munir. He is escalating it hugely. He wants this war to be escalated, and how? India struck 9 terrorist bases and 2 headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. In fact, for Jaish-e-Mohammed, a little distance away from their headquarters, that Masjid Subhanallah is their main rest and recuperation and recreation masjid and residential complex that India struck on the outskirts of Bahawalpur. So India striking terror. India doesn't have any terrorist camps, so Pakistan can't strike terrorists here. So they tried striking the armed forces of India, and that's massive escalation. That too from Jammu and Kashmir all the way down to Gujarat. Correct. So through J&K, through Punjab, through Rajasthan, through Gujarat, Massive escalation by General Asim Munir. This man is very dangerous for Pakistan.
And you know, while we did precision strikes on terror launch pads, what Gaurav said about them attempting to target our armed forces, them targeting civilians too. We've been seeing that along the border as well. So Bhuj, you've seen it. In Rajasthan too. You see several locations. There's a frontline fighter airbase.
At Uttarlai.
In Uttarlai, where that's where, again, we've seen an attempt to fire missiles and drones in several locations in Rajasthan. Let's quickly play that out. You have Uttarlai, you have Falodi.
You have Nal. Nal, again, is a very significant air base. And you know, why do you have these bases right at the front line? Because this is virtually like a staging camp for operations that need to be undertaken off when your aircraft are, after striking, they're returning, they can come here to these bases, frontline bases, that your defensive and offensive capabilities. Of course, this is from in earlier times. Now you have aircraft and your mid-air refuelers, they can take off from anywhere in the country and go anywhere across the country. But Pakistan targeting the entire front line of Indian Air Force bases from Jammu and Kashmir to Gujarat is a very important message. Pakistan also in a way attempted to take out some of our missile defense systems and shields through this drone attack, because some of these air bases, apart from having a fighter jets, also have your missiles for your air defense. So Pakistan is escalating. India doesn't want to escalate. But what is India doing? The moment Pakistan does this, India hits at their air defense system. So that next time when we go in, if there is a requirement, and God forbid, but if there is a requirement, their enemy air defenses are already suppressed. It's a concept of warfare called SIAD, suppression of enemy air defenses. This is what India did at Lahore, and as you pointed out, you know, in Rawalpindi, in Sialkot, and a couple of other places that the government is not talking about.
Okay, what's very clear, and the messaging here is very important. In Chandigarh is the Western Command headquarters. Batinda, Punjab has the IAF base. Adampur, which Gaurav was referring to, is a frontline fighter IAF base. That list goes on. There are 15 places, several of those in Punjab, by the way, that you see, including Pathankot, which already, of course, was targeted by Jaish-e-Mohammed as well.
Absolutely right.
And in Jammu, the IAF base, ME base, all of these were targeted. Let me just highlight here that the moment Pakistan scales up, they're escalating, assuming perhaps that there won't be any retaliation from India because we've done Operation Sindur, we've targeted these terror camps. But that's not the message here. The message is, if you target us, and if your mission is unsuccessful, doesn't mean we won't hit back, Gaurav.
Absolutely. And hit back is not to escalate, but to send across a message to Pakistan. India could have escalated. If Pakistan tried to hit us at 15 different locations, India can hit at 15, maybe even more locations. And you've seen from that Balakot operations, India can hit anywhere in Pakistan. Balakot is the other end of Pakistan, from after which Afghanistan starts in Northwest Frontier Province or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So India hit Balakot, you can hit Balakot again, but India does not want to escalate. That is why it's only at Lahore, you know, which is barely 25 kilometers from Amritsar, that their air defense system was destroyed. Of course, quite close to the core headquarters. So the signaling is very clear. India is still signaling, Pakistan is trying to destroy some of our bases.
You know, our, as the government put it, non-escalatory response is what we're looking at. But let's say if there's an attempt again by Pakistan, hopefully they've learned their lesson, because of those 15 sites that they tried to target, not one did they manage to hit. All of it thwarted. And just imagine the level of alertness of our forces, that on high alert, and this is what we mean by high alert, because when Pakistan said they were on high alert, we pulled off Operation Sindur. When we said we're on high alert, they attempted to hit 15 locations across a 3,000 kilometer stretch. We stopped all of it. Our forces repelled and thwarted every single one of them, and then gave them the exact same treatment. And unfortunately for Pakistan, we've always been successful in the operations we pull off. And that's also because of the free hand that the government has given to our forces. Prime Minister Modi has been at the nerve center of planning, monitoring Operation Sindur. And he chaired crucial meetings today as well, perhaps tracking all the latest that's been happening, and round 2 of Operation Sindur. Our next report tells you more.
The next phase of Operation Sindur. India responded to Pakistan's provocations by disabling Pakistan air defense radars, especially in Lahore. Pakistan's attempt to fire missiles at 15 Indian cities was successfully foiled by the Indian defense systems. India's leadership, meanwhile, also simultaneously focusing on operational preparedness across the country to ensure citizen safety. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting with secretaries of various ministries on Thursday, calling for continued alertness and clear communication while reaffirming the government's commitment to national security and operational readiness. The meeting was attended by the Cabinet Secretary, senior officials from the Prime Minister's office, secretaries from key ministries including Defence, Home Affairs, External Affairs, Information and Broadcasting, Power, Health and Telecommunications. A statement issued by the Prime Minister's office confirmed that the focus of this high-level meeting was to strengthen civil defence mechanisms, ensure the security of critical infrastructure, and efforts to counter misinformation and fake news. Ministries were also advised to maintain close coordination with state authorities and ground-level institutions, it said. Secretaries have been directed to undertake a comprehensive review of their respective ministries' operations and to ensure foolproof functioning of essential systems, with special focus on readiness, emergency response and internal communication protocols. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressing the need for seamless coordination among ministries and agencies to uphold operational continuity and institutional resilience. PM Modi reaffirmed the government's commitment to national security and citizen safety. As the Indian Armed Forces carried out missile strikes on 9 terror targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu Kashmir, and then the drone response at the air defence systems, is a reminder from India that terror attacks against our innocent civilians will not be tolerated anymore. Bureau Report, India Today Television.
All right, let's talk about how we managed really to thwart all of the attacks by Pakistan. Remember that we have a very, very robust, some of the best in the world, air defense system currently in place. And that was clear in the fact that you saw all attempts to go ahead and hit 15 locations by Pakistan, all of that immediately dismissed. India has used the Israel-made Harub drone and Russia-made S-400 called the Sudarshan Chakra. Let's talk about the S-400 first. The S-400 Sudarshan, it can detect, track, engage a wide array of aerial threats, including stealth aircraft, fighter jets, drones and cruise or ballistic missiles at ranges of up to 400 kilometers. Its arsenal includes multiple missile types, allowing layered defense against simultaneous threats at varying distances and altitudes. Now, this particular system's radars also extremely effective. So in difficult environments, the Sudarshan Chakra really steps up. And it's this S-400 that's demonstrated its prowess repeatedly. Now, in fact, previously in drills also, it's shot down 80% of a simulated enemy aircraft package. And it's the S-400 that helped us last night, that helped our forces last night repel all of these attacks. Let's also tell you about the Harub drone. It's a small one. It's called the Israeli Harub Killer, or a kamikaze drone. It acts as cruise missiles by exploding right into enemy targets and radars. Almost feels like it's crashing right into it, and then boom. It's a second-generation member of, in fact, a loitering munition family of systems. So it has combining capabilities of a UAV, a drone, as well as a missile, 2-in-1, essentially. This drone also acts as a surveillance drone and a lethal missile, as India has used it. It loiters over target areas, then dives right into it upon detection. So Harub drones search, find, identify, attack, destroy targets, perform battle damage assessment as well. These are the two weapons that have been used that have helped India hit back at Pakistan, at their military establishments this time. And Pakistan had this one coming because of them attacking our military establishments across a 3,000-kilometer border. We're going to continue tracking all the latest updates that are coming in. You're tuned into our non-stop coverage here on India Today of Operation Sindur and Operation Sindur 2.0, where you're seeing Pakistani military establishments being struck now by Indian forces because of how they attempted to target us. Tit for tat is the message India is putting out. Thanks for tuning in. We're joining you on the other side of a very, very short break with more updates.
Edge 60 Pro, the edge of excellence.
Long night?
You have no idea.
I got you.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the edge of excellence.
Hi, here are the top headlines presented by Motorola. India foils Pakistan's attempts to target 15 Indian cities. India destroys Pakistan's air defense system. Complete blackout from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. in Gurdaspur.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 39 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 29 and minimum 23 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 42 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 30 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 35 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 36 and minimum 24 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Co-powered by Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited.
Welcome, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. What could be seen in a grave move of escalation late last night, Pakistan tried to attack 15 defense installations in India. Each of the 15 attempts, viewers, were thwarted by India's air defense system. We're going to get you more about that. And also then, as what India said clearly, in a reactionary measure, India went and attacked certain installations, army installations, defense installations of Pakistan, be it Lahore, be it Sialkot, be it Rawalpindi. We're going to get you the latest details that are coming out of what India calls a proportionate reaction to the escalatory reaction of Pakistan. All of that coming up. First up, allow me to take you through the headlines. India shoots down Pakistan missiles across 15 locations. India destroys Pakistan air defense systems in Lahore, strikes systems in multiple Pakistan cities. Indian Air Force used S-400 air defense. S-400 Sudarshan Chakra thwarted attacks. India Sudarshan Chakra strikes. Air raid sirens pierce the air in Pakistan cities. Chaos, panic as Lahore residents flee after 3 loud explosions. Clouds of smoke fill city's skyline. India sends a clear warning to Pakistan, says face our wrath if you escalate again. Busts Pakistan's claims that civilians died, asks why was Pakistan army at funeral of terrorists. From diplomacy to now digital strike, all Pakistan-based content, films, songs and more to be removed from India's OTT and media streaming platforms. India's water strike after drone attacks. Salal Dam gates opened, flood threat now in Pakistan. All right, viewers, let me get you up to speed with the latest news break that is coming in. Pakistan in a fair amount of panic and chaos over drone strikes on camera. Drone remnants now found across Pakistan cities. Indian drone debris found in Karachi, in Rawalpindi and Lahore. India struck Pakistan's crucial air defense system in Lahore, in Rawalpindi, the seat of Pakistan Army headquarters, and in Karachi as well. What you see on television screen, social media aflush with viral videos as well, all emanating from Pakistan on the debris of these Israel-made drones that India had chosen to strike Pakistan, all as a proportionate response, viewers. You know, you cannot underline this enough. India yesterday had made it very clear that at the back of Pahalgam, it had taken a measured, non-escalatory response. Pakistan, in the dead of the night, in its sinister plan, plotted to attack, escalate the situation by targeting 15 defense installations across India's 2,000-kilometer borderline. And each of those 15 attacks of Pakistan were foiled, they were repelled, they were thwarted by India's S-400 air defense system. Having said that, India with what it called a clear, retaliatory, proportionate reaction, chose to attack because Pakistan had escalated the entire conflict, chose to proportionately respond to that, to send out a grave, clear message to Pakistan. You escalate, we will give it back. And that's exactly what happened. India, through the course of this early morning, through drones, attacked key army defense installations of Pakistan. The air defense system in Lahore was neutralized by India's drones. India attacked in Rawalpindi, the headquarters of the Pakistan Army. In Karachi, you can see the remnants, the debris of the drones used by India. All of these images are coming on from social media where Pakistan is concerned. Meanwhile, India today launched phase 2 of its operation Sindur against Pakistan. We are technically now in phase 2. India's Herop drones struck military installations, like I pointed out earlier, Karachi, Lahore, Kant, Rawalpindi, Islamabad, Gurjanwala and Chakwal. The visuals of Indian drone debris found on your television screen, you can see on various parts of Pakistan, viewers. Pakistan in a sense of chaos, in a sense of panic, where its residents, villages, recovering pieces of the debris of the drones that India used to retaliate, proportionally retaliate to Pakistan. Meanwhile, Pakistan's attempted late last night and early this morning. Of course, we're going to take you through on what Pakistan had attempted, and you can see that on your television screen. These 15 spots across a 2,000-kilometer borderline. You can see from Avantipura, Srinagar, Pathankot, Jammu, Ludhiana, Kapurthala, Chandigarh, Jalandhar, Adampur, Bhatinda, Nal, Falodi, Uttar Lai and Bhuj. These were the areas that Pakistan attacked or attempted to attack through the course of the night yesterday, viewers. And each of those attempts were thwarted. I'm going to take you through where what was the reasoning of Pakistan to attack or attempted to attack these installations. I want to get in my colleague Shweta Singh as well, who's an ace defense journalist, has been tracking developments since yesterday. Shweta, what is the importance of trying to attack Avantipur, Srinagar? Can you take us one by one on all the key defense installations that Pakistan had tried to target?
See, without giving away much, Preeti, right. Srinagar, Avantipura, these are forward air bases, forward installations which have the presence of army. They've got Avantipura has a parallel runway. We require for fighters. Otherwise, we used to have one at Srinagar. Now there's at Avantipura as well. So all across, if we look from there right till Bhuj, these are forward air bases or defense installations. Right. And the idea why Pakistan targeted these was because they said we will launch an attack on the places from where the missiles came to destroy these terror camps, which India is saying, and they're saying these are civilian areas.
All right, so all these 15 key Indian defense installations that Pakistan tried to target through the course of the night, Shweta, right. Each one of them, and you can take us through on the importance of each one of them, were thwarted, was repelled, were neutralized by India's S-400 air defense systems, right. Each one of them.
Right. So it has a radius of, it can protect up to 400 kilometers, one. And we have 2 for the Pakistan border, 2 for the China area, and 1 for Delhi. So our big cities are all protected. If we talk about all these areas, Preeti, like we're saying that we don't want to give away which fighter planes are kept here or which units are deployed here.
Because that will only help Pakistan.
Exactly.
Right.
They might have a fair idea in this age of information.
But each one of them was crucial to India, you're
saying. Bhuj, again, instrumental in wars. It is a forward air base. It covers the entire south of Pakistan. Uttar Lai, we fought a battle there. Falodi, we fought a battle there. Nal, Bhatinda. Now, you don't just see the forward air bases or the forward defense installations, but right behind that, we have ample defense strategic assets which Pakistan wanted to target. Adampur is an air base, and we've got, but it has got a fantastic air defense system. I was recently covering there, and it is almost like an 18-kilometer high invisible wall which protects you from all around. So Pakistan was perhaps daydreaming with the technology that they have, which is downgraded from what we have, S-400, and that is made in China. So China made a cheap copy of S-300 and sold it to Pakistan. Pakistan by now knows what happened. So Amritsar right on the border, and whenever something happens in Amritsar, it can be heard in parts of Punjab, Lahore. And that's why when their missiles tried to strike Amritsar, there were reports from Amritsar, the civilians said that...
The sound.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, the
sound.
So
it was actually the S-400 firing as well?
You know, give us a minute, Shweta. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask our producers to play the importance of S-400. That is India's air defense system, and that is what neutralized and thwarted this attack on all these 15 key installations. And that is bought from Russia. We've got, this from Russia. Can you take us through on the importance of S-400? Because, since the morning, we've spoken ad nauseum, Shweta, that S-400 and its importance in the air defense system and what it did last night. Take us through that.
Preeti, I would speak in a common man's terms so that everybody could understand it. Otherwise, there is a lot of jargon that is associated with defense and it confuses you. So when we talk about S-400, it is a system. It is a system which, number one, it detects, okay, is something happening? Then if there is a launch towards that particular area which it is covering, then it will launch a missile to actually neutralize it mid-air. That is what happened. We found debris of semi-exploded missiles and
all the villages bordering Pakistan. You can see all the villagers have found some kind of debris.
Some kind of debris, and that was because there was in mid-air it was neutralized. So if there's a fighter plane that's coming at whatever height, if there's a drone that is coming your way, if there's a missile, ballistic missile that's coming your way, an S-400 system is designed to actually kill it in the air. It is like when we talk about Israel, it is like our Iron Dome. It is our Iron Dome.
So S-400 is our Iron Dome.
I wouldn't say it is the technology that Israel uses. It is not as advanced, but for Pakistan or for China, we are fully equipped. S-400 can fight them because even China does what Russia is trying to do, and as far as air defense systems go, and that is what was happening.
Shweta, stay with me. I'm going to cut across to Gaurav Sawant as well, who's joining us right now from the newsroom. We'll also have Sandeep Punithan with me here in just a short while. And before we move on to the proportionate response of India at the back of what Pakistan had planned and India thwarted, all of this happened, viewers, yesterday in the middle of the night. And Gaurav, now, our managing editor has been tracking all developments through the course of the night meticulously. And Gaurav, we can now say for sure we are in the second chapter of Operation Sindur, where India now will give a proportionate response to whatever Pakistan does. Because Pakistan attempted to escalate, India thwarted with a proportionate response.
Preeti, you're absolutely right. And the superstar here was the S-400 system, which is the world's most advanced air defense system. Nobody in the world, not even America's THAAD, which is the Terminal High Altitude Air Defense System, comes anywhere close to the S-400s, because the S-400s are able to neutralize any threat. It may be a threat as low as 10 meters, virtually surface skimming missile that's coming in, or an incoming threat which at 50,000 feet altitude, which is the virtual ceiling for any fighter jet. It can take down missiles at both levels, or a drone or a threat that's coming in. It can scan multiple targets simultaneously and decide which target to take down when, in terms of priority, in terms of the speed of the incoming threat, which needs to be taken down first, which needs to be taken down second, third and fourth. It has a series of systems. Now, these are road mobile systems. There's a command and control structure. There is a radar system, and then there are the missiles that are fired. And India, withstood a lot of pressure, including from countries like the United States, to go ahead with this deal to buy 5 S-400 systems. 3 have already arrived and have already been deployed. So nothing in the world is better than the S-400s right now. Point 1. Point 2, Pakistan launched simultaneously, near simultaneous assaults at 15 different locations using missiles and drones. India targeted 9. Pakistan wanted to send out a message that they were stronger. They targeted 15 from Jammu and Kashmir through Punjab, through Rajasthan to Gujarat, and each and every one was destroyed. But India, while not wanting to escalate, wanted to give demonstrative and punitive action against Pakistan. What's demonstrative? That you take down their missile defense system, the HQ-9s that were taken down. Significant, while made in China, quite like the S-300s, an earlier generation of the missile defense shield that Russia had produced. But the fact is, Lahore becomes vulnerable. Rawalpindi, which is general headquarters, the Pakistan Army headquarters, that becomes vulnerable, as does Sialkot, where there's massive troops being amassed by Pakistan. So that signal's gone out. And not just here, down the line, multiple places have been targeted, which government will make clear. But again, Pakistan will now try to go up the escalation ladder and target once again. That's where the armed forces are ready, not just with the S-400s.
I'm going to come right back. I'm going to just stay with that thought. I'm going to pull in Shweta as well on how India then gave a proportionate response to Pakistan. And once again, viewers, like Gaurav was pointing out, let's break Operation Sindur in the phase 1 part, where day before yesterday, through the dead of night, India attacked 9 terror installations, only precise terror installations in Pakistan. And now we're in phase 2 of Operation Sindur, where India has used drones to strike Pakistan, which was a proportionate response, because Pakistan escalated last night. Attempts were thwarted, neutralized, but India was successful in sending back a proportionate response with a strong message, Shweta. And that message, I was reckoned, was delivered by Israel-made drones. Would you elucidate what India used? And the sheer fact that Pakistan could not intercept these drones and they hit their target with precision. The sheer fact that the seat of power in Rawalpindi was hit, which gave a message that you come for us, we can hit you where we want.
And Israel is as excited with what has happened because the videos are all over. Preeti, I'd like to take you a night before when Pakistan, in a response to our attack on their terror centers, sent swarm drones. These are, again, source-based. I've spoken to a lot of soldiers posted on the line of control, and they've said there have been reports of swarm drones coming in from Pakistan, trying something nasty, but did not happen. Now, they try to attack our bases.
So Pakistan also used drones plus missiles?
They tried to. Not attacking these places particularly, but probably for Reiki.
Okay.
We can just say that at the moment. And India responded by these Harop drones, which were sent inside Pakistani territory on these bases from where their stupid attack was, I think, unleashed. That would be the best thing to say, because their air defense failed when we sent in the missiles and the drones for the attack on day 1. And then when India retaliated to their attack on our bases, we retaliated with Harop drones. Now, Pakistan is saying, very interestingly, that they shot down these drones. And even some international media outlets are saying that the Harop drones were shot down. No, you do not shoot down a Harop drone. It is a suicidal drone. It is a Fidayeen drone, if I could say that.
Well, that's quite ironic.
Yeah.
Because where we used it, it is ironic.
It does not come back.
Yeah.
It will destroy the place. So you will find its debris, but it has done its job.
All right. So, Gaurav, would you want to come in and reflect on this drone technology that India has that clearly Pakistan could not intercept at all, and with precision struck their target, and sending a chilling message? We've struck you in your seat of power, Rawalpindi.
So, you're absolutely right. Rawalpindi is the seat of power, its general headquarters, and the stadium. Shweta has reported from there on ground zero. There's a cricket stadium right next to it, which was where the messaging was done very effectively. Taking down their missile defense shield, again, is a messaging that's done very effectively. If we can take this down, if we can take Muridke and Bahawalpur down, then the core headquarters is not far. But so far as India is concerned, it's only messaging. Point 1. Point 2, as Shweta was mentioning, positioning. Herop's state of the art. Yesterday I had Israel's ambassador Reuven Azar on the show with me, and he was talking about the technology cooperation that's happening between India and Israel. We all know of the intelligence cooperation that's happening between India and Israel. It's not only technology that you acquire, but it's also technology that you make, because in a long-drawn conflict, you can't just keep relying on foreign partners. You need to make in India, and that's where Atmanirbhar Bharat becomes extremely critical. If you can make these drones at home, and that's exactly what India is also doing. Now, these are drones where you feed in all the data, feed in the coordinates, they go, they loiter, they see the target, and then they have the ability to take the target down. The moment they see the target, the explosive is in the drone, and it goes slam dunk into the target, neutralizing it completely. Right. Shweta rightly pointed out, there's no way that you can stop, intercept, or take this drone down. Pakistan tried, their air defense system failed.
And the irony was with the word Shweta used, these are Fidayeen drones used in Pakistan. But, Gaurav, stay with me. I want to introduce in this conversation senior journalist Sandeep Punithan. Gaurav Sawant, Shweta Singh, Sandeep Punithan are some of the finest defense journalists in the country. We are lucky to have them with us, and they have been breaking down of what the last 48 hours have meant, viewers. I'm going to cut across to Sandeep, but before that, let's quickly dip in to that press conference by the Ministry of External Affairs exactly 45 minutes ago on briefing the world on the second phase of Operation Sindur, and how India's hand was forced the second time to give a proportionate response to what was grave escalation by Pakistan, or an attempt at grave escalation by Pakistan last night. Listen in, we are back with the three of them.
Pakistan has also claimed that India deliberately attacked religious sites. This is completely false. Again, I have made it clear that the targets were terrorist infrastructure, terrorist facilities, and locations connected clearly with incidents of cross-border terrorism into India. And it is in fact Pakistan that is misusing religious sites as a cover to in fact radicalize, direct and indoctrinate and train terrorists. In fact, contrary to what Pakistan is attacked.
Today morning, Indian Armed Forces targeted air defense radars and systems at a number of locations in Pakistan. Indian response has been in the same domain with the same intensity as Pakistan. It has been reliably learnt that an air defense system at Lahore has been neutralized. Pakistan attempted to engage a number of military targets in northern and western India using drones and missiles. These places included Avantipura, Srinagar, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Kapurthala, Nal, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Adampur, Bhatinda, Chandigarh, Falodi, Uttarlai and Bhuj. These were neutralized by the integrated counter unmanned aerial system and other air defense systems. The debris of these attacks is now being recovered from a number of locations that prove the Pakistani attacks.
7 से 8 मई 2025 की रात को पाकिस्तान ने उत्तरी और पश्चिमी भारत में स्थित कई सैन्य ठिकानों को, जैसे कि अवंतीपुरा, श्रीनगर, जम्मू, पठानकोट, अमृतसर, कपूरथला, जालंधर, लुधियाना, आदमपुर, भटिंडा, चंडीगढ़, नाल, फलौदी, उत्तरलाई और भुज पर ड्रोन और मिसाइलों से हमला करने का प्रयास किया। इन हमलों को इंटीग्रेटेड काउंटर यूएएस ग्रिड और वायु रक्षा प्रणालियों द्वारा निष्क्रिय कर दिया गया। इन हमलों का मलबा कई स्थानों से बरामद हुआ, जो कि पाकिस्तानी हमलों का प्रमाण है।
So, viewers, clearly, late last night, there was escalatory provocation by Pakistan, which India proportionately answered by giving it back. The difference was that India was able to thwart, repel each and every attempt of Pakistan to strike 15 of its key defense installations. But India was successful in striking back through drones. What next? The latest information that is also coming in, and, we just want to give it to our viewers, that all airports in Pakistan, flights have been suspended right now. Number two, the US advisory has come in where the United States of America have asked all its citizens to leave Lahore or find safety or safe places in Lahore. So lots going on the sidelines of it. The National Security Council in Pakistan, well, if it really tantamounts to anything, because the Pakistan Army always is the one who has the say, has given a free hand to the Pakistan Army to what they call retaliate in whatever measure they want at a time of their choosing. Sandeep, I want to pull you in, but Shweta, you first, very quickly. What can we now expect? Of course, everything is in the realms of speculation, but the sheer fact, the sequence of events suggest the ball technically now in Pakistan's court again. Will Pakistan escalate a second time? Because India is very clear, we'll give it back.
Pakistan will have to escalate, at least
you think they will escalate?
To their home audience. They have to give them a message. Preeti, they've actually lost very important people, even in the cross-border shelling, since they started first. But there are reports that some army personnel have died and their families have been affected because they were, even in these times, there were reports of certain families that were on the front line. A CO of a particular battalion has lost his family. Asim Munir was part of that janaza personally. And so these are things that they need to tell their home audience that we are doing something. They have to give a semblance of some action, and as soon as they do that, India will retaliate. And after all, Sindur, Operation Sindur 2.0 is still left. There is a list of 21 locations we have to hit. We've just hit 9.
And Sandeep, that escalation ladder that we keep speaking on, we've clearly in the last 24 hours climbed up that escalation ladder, not because we wanted to, our hand was forced. Pakistan escalated, our response was proportionate. What do you think the next 24 or to the next 48 hours bring, keeping in mind all the indications that are coming in?
Well, there's going to be tremendous pressure on General Asim Munir, as Shweta was saying, because let's not forget, Preeti, it's not just Pakistan that's been targeted. Punjab province has been targeted. Punjab province is the heartland of the Pakistan state. It is from where 70% of the Pakistan military, both soldiers and officers, are recruited. Punjab is everything for the Pakistan state. Punjab dominates Pakistan, not only in the military, but in every aspect of life. They have been attacked. Terrorist infrastructure has been struck in a way that has not been in the last 25 years. These are unprecedented strikes. And I think the Indian government has demonstrated that if the Pakistan military thinks it's unpredictable, the Indian government is even more unpredictable. And the speed at which it's retaliated to last night's attack by Pakistan, we're calling it Swift Retort 2.0. In fact, Gaurav came up with this expression a few days back. It was defeated, it was destroyed, it was repelled by our air defense network, including the S-400. But now the ball is in Pakistan's court. Again. Especially, and these attacks, today's attacks, very significant. Broad daylight. You had drones, the Harops went in broad daylight, not in the dead of the night.
You're right.
You saw people shooting them on their smartphones, and they were tracking these drones as they went down to impact. And this is the kind of fear that General Asim Munir has exposed the people of Pakistan to. He keeps talking about a hard state all the time. Well, this is the hard state that he envisaged.
Just before I let both Shweta and Sandeep go, because India has been able to strike Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Lahore, Sialkot. There is a lot which is going on where the Indian audience is concerned, where Delhi, because Delhi is right up where the threat category is here. But, I want to cut across how, at least with the kind of air defense systems that we have, and we're going to give you out the graphics there, that Delhi right now, Shweta, is impenetrable. Like, you cannot get to Delhi.
It is. Even on a normal day, it is, you cannot just attack Delhi. And we've come up with those graphics. There are actually 8 layers if you talk about it. And Preeti, even a normal high-rise 5-star hotel has air defense on its rooftop. There is air defense there. Your main buildings, the Prime Minister's residence, the South Block, North Block, Parliament House, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, all are covered by multiple layers. There are small teams, there are huge teams. There is complete air defense, S-400 at 2 borders and for Delhi. They know the importance of New Delhi. Any attack here from the air would be fatal, would be deadly, and that is why Delhi is protected in such a way.
Sandeep, you want to reflect on that? Because a lot of people are speaking of Delhi. It's right up the threat ladder. And if you're escalating, there is an imminent threat where Delhi is concerned. But I think it's impenetrable right now.
It is impenetrable, Preeti, but, you know, as Shweta just put it, multiple layers of defenses, looking at everything from drones, from small drones right up to fighter aircraft packages. But if Pakistan were to make that mistake of attacking Delhi, even, you know, crossing into airspace and attempting to attack Delhi, that would be another red line that they would have crossed, and the consequences would be terrible for Pakistan. But we haven't struck Islamabad yet.
Yes, yes.
Hitting Delhi would be symbolic. I would think it would be the equivalent of what they did 25 years back by attacking India's parliament in 2001. It would be the Pakistan military's attempt to replicate the parliament attack. But you know, the interesting part about all of these strikes, Preeti, is that, you know, for 25 years, we've always lived under the threat of terrorism. Thanks to General Asim Munir, that mask of terrorism has fallen off, and we see the person wearing the mask. It has been the Pakistan army all along. And those pictures that we saw yesterday in that...
The funerals.
Where you have the soldiers standing side by side with terrorists. That just tells you that's the biggest visual proof that you have, that Pakistan, the rogue nation, is the one for whom terror is an instrument of state policy.
I just want to give you both just 10 seconds each, and then we're going to quickly cut across to what the defense minister said this evening. The next 24 to 48 hours right now, Shweta.
Very crucial, especially around the line of control, and to see how Pakistan wants to retaliate. I think the terror threat is bigger.
The terror threat is bigger.
Yeah, Pakistan, more than Pakistan as a state.
Sandeep?
If there is a terror attack, as Shweta mentions, a covert option, that would mean that the Pakistan military has exercised a covert option. And that would immediately mean another retaliatory attack by India. Because right now, the forces are raring to go. Because this is an opportunity that we have got after a very long time. The weight of the international opinion is behind us. And if India has to take out Pakistan's terror infrastructure, now is the time to do it.
All right, thanks the both of you. What we're going to do is quickly dip into what the defense minister said a short while ago. Listen in.
साथियों, सबसे पहले तो मैं हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने कल जो कार्रवाई की है और जय हिंद जो शौर्य और पराक्रम दिखाया है उसके लिए मैं हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। पाकिस्तान और पीओके में जिस तरह से हमारी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने टेरर कैंप्स को नेस्त नाबूद किया है वो हम सबके लिए एक गौरव का विषय है। क्वालिटी की क्या भूमिका होती है, यह क्या रोल अदा करती है, इसका नमूना हमने कल देखा। जिस प्रेसिजन के साथ यानी जिस सटीकता के साथ ऑपरेशन सिंदूर एग्जीक्यूट किया गया वह अनइमेजिनेबल है, बहुत ही सराहनीय है। साथियों, मैं समझता हूं कि इस दिशा में प्रयास करने का यह सबसे उचित समय है, क्योंकि इस समय जो परिस्थितियां चल रही हैं उसे आप सब देख रहे हैं। हमारे रीजन में ही आज जो स्थितियां उत्पन्न हो रही हैं उससे आप सभी अवगत ही नहीं हैं बल्कि अच्छी तरह परिचित हैं। हमने हमेशा ही एक रिस्पांसिबल नेशन होने का रोल बड़े संयम से निभाया है, सदैव निभाया है। हम लगातार इस बात के पक्ष कर रहे हैं कि समस्याओं का समाधान बातचीत के जरिए से हो, परंतु इसका अर्थ यह नहीं है कि हमारी सहनशीलता का कोई नाजायज फायदा उठाए। यदि कहीं कोई हमारे इस संयम का फायदा उठाने की कोशिश करता है तो उसे कल की तरह ही क्वालिटी कार्रवाई का सामना करने के लिए भी पूरी तरह से तैयार रहना होगा।
Don't test our patience because we will give it back. We are a responsible nation, but we are capable of a more than proportionate response. That is what the Defence Minister said. With that, viewers, I'm going to go into a quick break to stay with us. On the other side, we're going to cut across to the 2,000-kilometer border that India shares with Pakistan, speak to our reporters who've been stationed in key locations. All of that coming up. Stay with us.
Edge 60 Pro, the edge of excellence.
Long night? You have no idea.
I got you.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the edge of excellence.
Hi, here are the top headlines presented by Motorola. India foils Pakistan's attempts to target 15 Indian cities. India destroys Pakistan's air defense system. Complete blackout from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. in Gurdaspur.
The shrapnel marks on these walls reminds me the picture that I witnessed in 2019 post Balakot airstrike by Indian forces on the terror camps in Pakistan. What I see here, that how Pakistan used long guns, the long barrels, to target the civilian areas, and these are the documented evidence. The footprints of their act is quite visible in